In the new ad, the 74-year-old rock star wears the pink cowboy outfit Nas showed off at the 2020 Grammys. The 22-year-old rapper, he's dolled up in the same feather and sequin outfit Elton wore on The Muppet Show back in 1977. Both men are hungry.
Tonight, I'll be eating lobster ravioli with shaved truffle. Yes. You look amazing. No, you look amazing.
Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The U.S. Transportation Department says it investigated 20 airlines over complaints that pandemic cancellation refunds were not issued promptly, and 18 of those probes are still going on. That's the World News Roundup Late Edition for Friday, September 10th, 2021. This broadcast produced by Diane James and Kathleen Biggins. I'm Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
When you're thinking lunch, think Gill Street Sports Bar and Restaurant. Spice up your day with some delicious appetizers, wings, wraps, and signature sandwiches. Gill Street is the perfect party place before and after the big game. They have plenty of TVs to catch all of your...
Axe throwing is here at Gill Street. Sign up now at rocketaxe.com and make reservations now for all your upcoming big celebrations at Gill Street.
Great food and drinks, it's time to unwind. Gill Street Sports Bar. It's Gill 30 time.
Every day, every single day, you hear about identity theft, whether it's on the radio, in the newspapers, on TV, or online. Now's the time to start protecting yourself with Bank of Pontiac's ID Theft Smart. It's the smart choice for safeguarding your identity. Protection, detection, restoration. ID Theft Smart at Bank of Pontiac is an easy and affordable way to obtain credit monitoring and identity restoration services that give you peace of mind. Stop by any Bank of Pontiac location to sign up for ID Theft Smart, the smart choice for safeguarding your identity. Member FDIC.
It's time for high school football on AM 1230 WJBC and FM 102.1. Sponsored by Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg.
Well, a good Friday evening, and we are in week number 3 of high school football here on WJBC. Neil Doyle here with you in Studio A. We've got a full slate of pregame coverage as we take you up to our main game kickoff tonight at 7. It's a battle in the Illini Prairie Conference. The Saints of Central Catholic hosting Paxton Buckley Loda. That's our game this evening. Blake Haas, Eric Lepan will have your call. We'll hear from them a little bit later in the pregame coverage. But first, we'll hear from all of the inner city coaches tonight and some news that came out this afternoon, in fact, as we go through the matchups and some of the games we'll be keeping track of throughout the evening across the area. But we'll start first with the Pioneers of U-High, who were supposed to be on the road tonight against Springfield Lanphier. And before we get into that, I want to remind you our pregame coverage of high school football sponsored by Country Financial Representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. But an announcement this afternoon, the Lanphier Lions having to cancel tonight's game against U-High due to 5 COVID positive tests, 5 players testing positive for COVID on the Lanphier side. So that game being called off tonight for U-High, so they will pick up a forfeit win, a bit of a change of events. U-High was trying to go on the road to play and pick up their first win of the season, but not the case with Lanphier having to cancel tonight's game. They'll actually have to cancel next week's game as well due to those COVID concerns. So we talked to Pioneers first-year head coach Brody Walworth earlier this week before we heard this news earlier today about the cancellation tonight. We'll still get into our conversation with head coach Brody Walworth and hear a little bit about what he thinks of his team through the first 2 weeks. And as I just said, now they won't be playing here in week number 3.
All right, Coach, coming off week 2, a tough one for your team. Pretty competitive game in the first half against Jacksonville, and then they just kind of pulled away there in the second half. Just some takeaways from the game in week number 2 and just some thoughts in that game against Jacksonville that you saw.
Yeah, well, I think we definitely made a big jump. I think we improved a bunch between week 1 and week 2. So I was really pleased with our effort. I think we fixed many of the things that we were targeting to fix after week one. Give a ton of credit to Jacksonville. I thought, they were the team that played the full 4 quarters, and I think that's a takeaway for us. And what we're still trying to get better at is that we are still struggling to play the full 48 minutes with a lot of consistency. I don't think it's our effort. I think we had great effort. I was really proud of our kids' competitiveness Friday night, and we just got to continue to be more consistent in our execution across 4 quarters of football. I think that's what it came down to, is we had 2 pretty good quarters, and they had 4 pretty good quarters.
And I know going into that game, I think, banged up a little bit in certain positions. And then, coming out of this past week, health-wise, kind of how has it been with dealing with injuries? And has that kind of been a problem here early in the year as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of injuries and some COVID-related stuff. We definitely had some kids unavailable last week that could have helped us. And we are missing a couple kids due to injury, but nothing, that you can't overcome at this point. And so it was a pretty weird week of practice. We had different people playing different positions almost every day. So, we could make a bunch of excuses in terms of that and say, well, we tried hard. But I think we still had a good enough team and put a good enough team on the field on Friday night to have won. And we played like we could have won for a couple quarters and just didn't quite get it done. So this is not you don't have the right coach if you're going to hear somebody moan about injuries. It's part of the game, and it's unfortunate when it happens. But no, we definitely had a couple kids unavailable that we would have liked to have had last week. But we felt good about the group that went out there Friday, and we just got to keep working and competing, and some other guys got to step up into their opportunities. And so we saw a little bit of that, but we're hoping to continue that as some new guys get some chances. They got to step up.
You guys celebrated senior night last week, and that was the first time, it was your first year with the program. You got to kind of experience that. Just kind of what was that like? Yeah,
I mean, it was, I wish we could have gotten those guys a win, but you got a group of players that have stuck through some really tough times, not just wins and losses, but last spring with COVID, I mean, that was a really difficult year for everybody. And so we had 8 guys walk out there last Friday as seniors to get recognized for the commitment and effort that they've put into this football program. And so I just have a ton of respect for them, and they've done a great job for me and really bought into what we're trying to do. And so I just really appreciate the effort that they've put in, and really happy with the way that they've become leaders in kind of a new system and with a new coach. And a kid like Bronson Muller, he played like 4 different positions on Friday night. And that's the kind of effort and leadership that you expect out of seniors. And so he's just a great example of a group of 8 that's done a tremendous job for us.
Well, as you guys get set now for your 3rd game, you're on the road this week against Springfield Lanphier. What's kind of the game plan? What's been the message in practice this week? And kind of what's the scouting report on Lanphier as you guys gear up for this week?
Well, the message in practice has been do your job. Bill Belichick probably made it the most famous, but I think that's where we've struggled the most, is that we execute well at times and in spurts, but we have a tendency to try to do too much or go beyond what I as an individual need to do to contribute to the team. And so we've really been trying to focus on, hey, let's get 11 guys doing what they're supposed to do, and on both sides of the ball and on special teams. And that's where we're going to, if we can get that consistently for 4 quarters, we're going to get the results that we want. So that goes back to our kind of process over product. But this week in particular, we've been hammering on doing your job, executing your position for 4 quarters. Be able to execute a little better every week, and hopefully if we can continue to do that, obviously we want to try to run the ball and establish that. We should have Cade McClellan back after missing last week. So we should be back to our kind of normal normal run game, and we saw Jaquan Harris last week really step in and play some tailback for us in a role he hadn't played very much. So, we're excited to be able to have maybe get a little two-headed monster going at tailback.
Coach, we always appreciate the time, but good luck this week.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's Pioneers head coach Brody Walworth, and we prefaced it before our interview. We talked to him earlier in the week, but the news came out this afternoon that the Pioneers will not be playing tonight because of COVID problems within the Springfield Lanphier program. Lanphier had 5 players test positive, so they had to cancel tonight's game. U-High will pick up the forfeit victory, so the Pioneers now 1-2 on the season without having to play a game in week number 3. Talking of COVID concerns and a game getting canceled, that was the case for the Bloomington Purple Raiders as we turn to look at Bloomington as they enter week 3. They did not play in week number 2 because Urbana canceled the remainder of their varsity season. So Bloomington, after losing to Normal Community in week 1, did not have a week 2 game. They had a lot of extra time to prepare for their week 3 opponent in Peoria Manual. Purple Raiders hitting the road for the first time this year. And we got a chance to sit down earlier this week with Purple Raiders head coach Scott Godfrey.
Well, Coach, coming off kind of a wonky week for you guys. Obviously, no game in week 2 with Urbana canceling the remainder of their season. So it's been a little bit since you guys have played in a competitive game since week 1. Just talk us through how you guys have kind of treated this longer off time in between games and kind of what that process has been like gearing up here for week 3.
We use the time off to kind of focus on some fundamentals and get back to some things that in practice if we were in a game week we otherwise wouldn't have time for. So we kind of scaled back and focused on what was important and really treated it as the focus is Bloomington just getting better as a football team. And then when we rolled into this week, it was just a regular game week. So we utilized the extra practices we got last week and got ourselves ready for this week, and now it's on the manual.
And then, kind of beneficial, too, to have maybe that extended time off. Again, not something you normally deal with in the high school season, but, injury-wise, if anybody was banged up, did that kind of give you guys some time to maybe get some bodies back as well?
Yeah, I think it was good for us to get some, bought us some time to get some players back. As a coach, you're always worried about, the conditioning. It's hard to simulate the conditioning you get in a game. So that's something we were worried about. We kind of ran some simulated conditioning things to simulate a game as much as we could. But that would be the one thing I'm always worried about.
I was going to say, not playing a game, 2 weeks, how do you kind of gear the guys up? Or are you at all maybe, worried with maybe the energy level coming into this third week game? Again, not playing since week 1, or do you think the energy will be there because the guys have now had, a little time off and they're just ready to get back out on the field and play?
I think that's the case. We were really worried about it last week, knowing that they had 6 days of practice. They were kind of staring 6 days of practice with no game. And our guys did an excellent job of practicing, very well last week. So that was kind of my worry. Now this week is a game week. So if you can't get up for that, then, I shouldn't have to provide that motivation for you.
Well, as you guys get prepared for your matchup this week, you're on the road against Peoria Manual. What have you seen from them in the time you've gotten to do a little bit of scouting, and kind of what will be the game plan against Manual this week?
Oh, Manual, they have size and they have speed. They have, they kind of have the two things that you can't coach, and they're blessed to have tremendous size up front on both lines, and to definitely have some speedy guys on the perimeter and on their defense. Kind of with that being said, what we're focused on is playing good defense, especially area of focus being in the secondary, and then offensively, our focus is taking care of the football. Too many turnovers in week 1, and that was the story. So trying to get our offense on track and take care of the football, win the turnover battle.
And then just lastly, as you get ready for your guys' first game again since week 1, first road game as well, is there a little bit different in practice this week and kind of preparing for going on that first road game of the season?
I don't think so. We treat every game the same. Obviously, going on the road, there's some different things as far as us coaches and remembering things and making sure where everything's packed up and taken care of. But other than that, we try to just, keep the weeks the same.
Coach, always appreciate the time, and good luck here in week 3.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's Purple Raiders head coach Scott Godfrey previewing Bloomington's Week 3 matchup. They're on the road against Peoria Manual. Purple Raiders 1-1. The Manual Rams 0-2 to start the season. Plenty more action here on our pregame coverage of high school football on WJBC, sponsored by Country Financial representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. Coming up, we'll hear from the two coaches in the town of Normal West head coach Nathan Fincham and community head coach Jason Drengowitz. The Ironmen hosting Peoria Richwoods tonight. Normal West on the road against Champaign Centennial. We'll do all of that ahead as our pregame continues here on WJBC.
No one needs to tell you what kids and pets do to your floors. Add real value to your home with new floors you can take pride in for years to come. Floor Coverings International offers thousands of flooring options, and they bring all samples to your door. Floor Coverings International can transform your living spaces from wood to laminate, carpet to luxury vinyl, and have it installed by their flooring experts. Get a free in-home consultation. Call 309-808-2976 and sign up for an in-home visit from Floor Coverings International today.
Steve Peterson, your local Country Financial representative, is proud to sponsor WJBC's Central Illinois High School Football Extravaganza. And he would like to extend best wishes and success to all the area teams, cheerleaders, band members, and their family members. Steve is a lifelong resident of Bloomington Normal, and he encourages everyone to support local high school students in both the classroom and on the field. A message from Steve Peterson, your local Country Financial representative.
Hard work, confidence, and a love of the game. It's not only what makes you successful on the football field, it's what makes us a winning team at O'Brien Hyundai in Normal. Our goal is 100% satisfaction for our customers, and we do whatever it takes to achieve it. So come check out the unbeatable Hyundai lineup at O'Brien. We're talking Sonatas, Tucsons, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. Plus, we've got the Hyundai Elantra. It's the 2021 North American Car of the Year, and all Hyundais come with complimentary maintenance, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Go online now to O'BrienTeamHyundai.com, and with O'Brien Express Car Buying, you can buy your Hyundai 100% online. Plus, let's pump up the team spirit in Normal. Shop local, buy local, and keep our community driving when you purchase at O'Brien Hyundai, your hometown Hyundai dealer. We're #1 in customer loyalty for 11 years in a row. Come see us at O'Brien Hyundai in Normal or online at O'BrienTeamHyundai.com.
O'Brien's got it. Yeah, O'Brien's got it.
According to 2020 Brand Keys Customer Loyalty Engagement Index.
Well, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
High school football on AM 1230, FM 102.1, WJBC.
And our pregame coverage rolling along in week #3 of high school football. Neil Doyle with you in Studio A. In our pregame of high school football on WJBC, sponsored by Country Financial representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. We'll turn now as we continue to hear from our inner city coaches this week, previewing these week 3 matchups. We'll now go to the Normal West Wildcats, who picked up a win last week over Champaign Central, their first win of the season. So the Wildcats 1-1 on the year. And they'll hit the road for the first time to face Champaign Centennial. The Chargers off to a hot start as they've started the season with 2 wins. So let's preview this one. And we spoke earlier this week with Wildcats head coach Nathan Fincham.
Well, coming off a solid win this past week over Champaign Central, a lot of offense for your guys, but just some overall takeaways from your guys' first win in week 2.
Initially, I think my first takeaway is, we didn't come out how we wanted to. Something we talked about all week, trying to get off to a good start, especially after our week 1 game. came out flat, and Champaign Central got up on us pretty quickly. So that's something that we've been talking about this week, trying to get over that hump of having a slow start, come out and play to our potential right away. But beyond that, as we got into the second quarter, I think we saw a little bit of what we're capable of, both offensively and defensively, where we started to pick it up a little bit and played well. So, and the nice thing about at least week 2 game against Champaign Central was that, it wasn't just one guy. We had 6 different guys scoring. Our defense scored, offense was scoring. So it was a total team effort.
And when you get, a lot of different guys scoring for you on the offensive side, you talked about the defensive touchdown as well. Does that just kind of create, a little more energy for the team in general and maybe on the sideline when you've got a lot of different guys getting involved like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the biggest varsity team we've had in a while. I think we got about 70 some odd kids, and when it's more than just one person making plays and more than just one person scoring touchdowns and getting all the credit, it just creates an increased engagement by all the players, right? And so just opportunities available for everybody, and the more opportunities that are available for everybody, the more people are engaged in practice and on the sideline.
And coming out of last week, health-wise and injuries, how's the team looking as we get ready for week 3?
We're looking pretty good so far. We're starting to get some guys back. We had some injuries from the spring that we're still trying to get over with some guys that, they're starting to able to do some non-contact stuff. So, we're excited about the possibility of getting some of those guys back. But, we're to that point where maybe guys that came out a little late and stuff like that, their opportunities are starting to be available now that they're getting their required amount of days in. So we're sitting in a pretty good spot health-wise, about as good as we can be.
It's still early in the year, just 2 games in, but anything in particular, maybe one area or something that stands out to you and the coaching staff that you've liked from your team here through the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it kind of comes back to your earlier question about, or my comment and question about the guys participating, being able to make plays. And last year I felt like we were just kind of a one pony, so to speak, on offense, right? We ran the ball and we had 1 or 2 guys that were able to make plays. And, this year, we feel like we're a little bit more well-rounded, and that was a goal of ours, was to kind of get to that point. And, have different guys that are weapons all over the field makes you much more difficult to defend. And then, from a defense perspective, we relied heavily on, 2 of our seniors last year, Corey Walker and Levi Hess, and, to have more guys involved that are making plays, it just makes us a little bit stronger overall as a team.
Well, you guys are getting set this week for Champaign Centennial. It's your guys' first road game of the year. Centennial's opened the year with 2 wins for themselves. So is there any different message this week in practice and gearing up for the first road game of the year? And then, what do you see in Champaign Centennial as you guys get prepared for Friday night?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest obstacle, is the fallout from a road game, right? So you have to pile into the bus and deal with potential close contacts the following week. And so that's obviously the number one concern I think you have with road games and busing. So, but outside of that, it's business as usual for us. We're not that far removed from spring road games, so these guys have a little bit of experience with those. So we should be good from that end. In regards to Champaign Centennial, they're a talented football team. They're really big up front. They got 2 guys that can do really nice things with the football when they get the ball in their hands, and their defense is solid. They run to the ball. They're in the right spot, so they're disciplined. Looks like they're well coached. From our end of it, they've scored 78 points to their opponent's 6 points. And so anytime you have a point differential like that and you're 2-0 in our conference, that means something. And so, that's the challenge to our team this week. We're 1-1. We don't have that type of point differential, so we have to come out and make a statement. So we're going to, compete with these guys. They're undefeated. They're tied for the lead in the conference, and that's the challenge in front of our team right now.
Coach, we always appreciate the time. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you very much. Take care.
Going to be a good one there for Normal West, and tough one on the road against Champaign Centennial tonight. The Chargers 2-0, Wildcats 1-1 in that battle of Big 12 conference teams. We'll have scoring updates from that one throughout the night in our pregame coverage continues, and again, it's sponsored by Country Financial representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. We'll go now to the other school in Normal. The Ironmen have gotten off to a solid start. They're 2-0 to begin their 2021 season. Another solid win last week for Normal Community, and they're at home again this week as they welcome in the Peoria-Richwood Knights. Richwood starting off a little slow. They're 0-2, have struggled to score the ball offensively, but Normal Community wants to make sure they're prepared and be ready for this Week 3 matchup, not trying to take a game off. So the Ironmen at home tonight, and we chatted with Normal Community head coach Jason Dringowitz.
Well, coming off another solid win for your team in Week 2, a big win over Peoria Manual, your guys' first home game. Just some takeaways, looking at the tape from Week 2 and just some things you might have liked from your team last week.
Yeah, well, first off, I just thought it was a great night for Ironman football with the dedicating the field to Coach Tharp. Great student section, great energy. Just felt good to be playing at home in the normal fall. So that was the first takeaway. Second takeaway, I thought we made some tremendous strides offensively, special teams, and defensively improvements from game 1. But you also go back and look at the film like we did, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. There are areas that we need to get better in and improve in if we want to, compete to win the Big 12 conference and make the playoffs and hopefully make a run. So, but really proud of the improvements we made. I thought we played with a lot of energy. I thought guys were excited. We got to play a lot of different kids, and everybody was really engaged and involved in the game. So proud of how we played, probably more than anything, just proud of how we went about practice during the week. Just coming off for a big win against your crosstown rival. Sometimes you can have a letdown that might start a practice, and we did not. We did not have that this week. So that was a really good positive for us.
Well, you mentioned last week with the naming of the new field after Coach Tharp. That's not something everybody, gets to be a part of. It's not often you get to name a field after a legend of a program. What was that ceremony like to be a part of? And were the team and the guys kind of aware of, the significance? Because it was a special moment, for the Ironman program.
Yeah, all week we talked about it being a big night for Ironman football from a standpoint of that dedication. Our kids, of course, didn't know a lot about Coach Tharp because that was before their time, but we tried to inform them as best we could with some general basic things. And I thought it was great on Friday, seeing all the alumni that were there, former Ironman players, some who traveled from far abroad to come back. And I felt like our kids were excited to get to play in front of former players who've worn the orange and black before, in front of some guys that have seen them play before, but in front of a lot of guys who probably have never seen them. So it was exciting night. It was special to be a part of. And all week long we talked about it being just a really big night, an important night in Ironman football. And I felt like, and I believe our coaching staff felt like, that everybody really embraced that.
And then coming out of last week, just health-wise, how are you guys holding up as we move into Week 3?
Yeah, we're, knock on wood, we're still healthy. We're in the same spot we were last week. Joey Fella, who started as our will linebacker Week 1, is still out with a broken arm. He had surgery on. We'll hopefully get him back near the end of the regular season. Other than that, everybody's healthy, everybody's back. Other than your couple bumps and bruises and nicks here that you get during the football season, but we're happy to get out healthy.
And then, it's always great to start the season 2-0. Anything in particular, maybe one area that you've liked so far from your guys that you've seen through the first 2 weeks? And then, just kind of maybe what's the energy and the vibe around the team? I'm sure, a lot of confidence starting the season with 2 wins.
Sure. I think, really 3 things stick out at me. Number one, I feel like we just have had a tremendous energy and excitement about playing and practicing, and it's been definitely different than it has been a little bit in the past. So that's been a huge positive. I think this group really likes to play football, and they like to play the game together as a group. Number 2, really happy, knock on wood, the offenses. We haven't turned the ball over once in the first 2 games, which is always a really good thing to have going your way and something we want to continue to do. And then 3, I think our defense is playing at a high level, but there's a lot of room for improvement on things that we can control, whether it's alignment or eye discipline, post-snap technique. Just happy that there is still room to get better, and our guys have seen it on film and know that. And I feel like there's a genuine consideration that, you know, we're not even remotely there yet where we need to be to achieve our goals.
Well, as we enter the third week of the season here, you've got Peoria Richwoods coming into town. You know, what have you seen from them and any tape you've gotten to watch so far, and kind of what will be the game plan here this week?
You know, one, I think it's we got to continue to focus on us and get better in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams, and tighten some things up and all those areas. You know, Peoria Richwoods, two tough losses for them the first 2 weeks against two really good teams, Peoria High and Peoria Notre Dame. They're a proud program. They're well coached. They're big. They're athletic. They're fast. They run a little bit different scheme offensively, a little bit different scheme defensively. That presents some challenges of how we align and what we make our calls and our blocking assignments. So we have to be on top of our game, and we got to get better in all those phases. And I think our kids will be excited. I think they'll be ready to play. Our coordinators have put in really good, strong game plans. And again, we'll be excited to play on Friday night at home again. And it's senior night, so we'll all look forward to that.
Coach, always appreciate the time, and good luck here in week 3.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it.
It's Ironman head coach Jason Drengowitz. The Ironmen, as you heard, senior night, trying to go a perfect 3-0 to start their season as they host Peoria Richwoods. And again, the sad news earlier this week, you heard us talking about the field dedication for head coach Dick Tharp, and Coach Tharp passing away earlier this week at the age of 90. So our condolences to the Normal Community Program, the Tharp family, as Coach Tharp died earlier this week at the age of 90. We'll continue our pregame coverage here on WJBC, and coming up, we'll head out to Central Catholic. We'll hear from Blake Haas and Eric LePan. We'll say hello to them, set the scene out there, and we'll hear from as well Saints head coach Kevin Brock as we're coming up on kickoff of our main game tonight. Central Catholic hosting Paxton Buckley Loda. All of that ahead as our pregame of high school football continues here on WJBC.
Your country financial representative, Melissa Eisenberg, is proud to sponsor coverage of all local high school and collegiate athletics. Melissa wishes all local athletes the best of luck this coming year, and she knows that you'll perform with tremendous poise and confidence. After all, that's what sports are all about. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You make our community proud. A message from Melissa Eisenberg, your country financial representative. Contact Melissa at 452-9644.
It's a podcast about money, but Stacking Benjamins not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
I, by the way, found an Xbox for the first time last week since this chip crisis.
Did you buy it?
I did not buy it. I'm like, not going to do it. It takes me a while to spend that kind of money.
That's a smart way to do it.
Some stackers out there that may feel that. Or I'm like, I want to spend this money so bad. Like, I just can't.
Priorities.
Yes.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Who's Hot and Who's Cold is sponsored by Bratcher Heating and Air. Who's Hot? Normal Community's Ryan Milmore. The junior plays goalie for the Ironman soccer team and is also the kicker for the football team. Last week, he helped post a 2-0 soccer victory against U-High, only days after kicking 5 extra points in a 35-0 football win over Bloomington. Who's cold? The Urbana High School football team, which has forfeited the remaining games on their schedule. Who's Hot and Who's Cold is sponsored by Bratcher Heating and Air.
Bratcher Heating and Air has been making home comfortable for over 37 years to help you stay warm this winter and cool in the summer for years to come. Purchase any Lennox system and get no payment, no interest for 12 months to qualified buyers. So whatever the season, when you trust Bratcher and Lennox, you're headed for comfort and savings. To learn more, call 309-454-1611 or online at BratcherComfort.com.
Making home comfortable again.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code OCEAN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code OCEAN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OCEAN.
The voice for high school sports. AM 1230 WJBC and WJBC.com.
high school football on WJBC, and our pregame continues. It's sponsored by Country Financial representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. We've heard from 4 of the inner city coaches. We'll keep track of those games tonight. Again, that's Bloomington at Peoria Manual, Normal Community hosting Peoria Richwoods, Normal West at Champaign Centennial. We told you early on in the pregame, if you missed it, U-High was supposed to be at Springfield Landfear tonight, but that game called off due to COVID issues in the Landfear program, so the Pioneers picking up a forfeit victory without having to play in week number 3. Still one more game to get to, and it's our main game tonight here on WJBC. The Saints of Central Catholic hosting the Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda. 2 teams in the Illini Prairie Conference have started the season 2-0, and it should be a good one as our main game here tonight. And we'll head out to Central Catholic High School. We'll say good evening to Blake Haas and a welcome back to Eric LePan, who had last week off. Gentlemen, it's going to be a nice night, it seems like, for some high school football.
Yeah, good evening, Neil, and welcome into week number 3 of high school football. 75 degrees as the sun starts to set here at Bill Hudman Field. And Eric, it's going to be a nice night. Welcome back to week number 3 of high school football, and it's going to be a good matchup tonight. 2 undefeated teams.
You know, and these teams are not that far apart, but you don't see them play very often, and I couldn't find when the last 2 times or the last time these 2 teams played, but a perfect addition to the Illini Prairie Conference and PBL. And a good matchup. I think it's a couple of schools that match up very well, size-wise, numbers-wise. So a couple of 2-0 teams ought to be a good one.
And let's talk about Paxton Buckley Loda, who is fresh into the Illini Prairie Conference just this year. Newly minted into the conference. They're 2-0 on the year, ranked number 10 in the class of 3A. The Central Catholic Saints, who are also undefeated, are not ranked just yet. Looking at the matchup so far, week number 1 for the Panthers of PBL. They won 28-8 over the Grey Ghost of IVC. And last week, the quarterback for PBL, that's Mason Bruns, the senior, 6'3", 160 pounds. He had quite a night, and we're going to see a good night from him as well. Last week, made one of the bigger highlights around the area, and he had a nice pass to Aiden Johnson, the junior wide receiver, and that was named the WCIA Play of the Week in Central Illinois. So one of the big plays of the week, and you know it's going to be a tough matchup for head coach Kevin Brott, but I think the Saints can do it tonight.
Well, we got a couple of offenses clicking early. PBL comes in here averaging 33 points a game. Central Catholic 40 points a game. I know it's an early sample, but I expect to see a lot of points. Saints can do it through the air and on the ground. You talked about that play. Saints have a weapon too, and Jake Slaughter averaging over 10 yards a carry, already a couple of touchdowns, 363 yards. So we could see some offense tonight.
And speaking of offense, you named Jake Slaughter as one of the key players to watch for Central Catholic last week as the Saints won 34-6. Get this, he had 2 running touchdowns, a kickoff return, and a receiving touchdown. That's just not heard of in high school football.
And he's a hard man to bring down. You can't tackle him high, and you got to bring a couple of players because he's going to run over you. And you talked about PBL ranked number 10. That's one of 3 teams in the Illini Prairie ranked. Also, we have Monticello and Tolono Unity, who Central has back-to-back after this game. So 3 straight games of ranked opponents for the Saints.
And that's exactly right. Looking at the Illini Prairie Conference overall, 4 teams tied for first place. That's the Saints of Central Catholic, the Sages of Monticello, Rantoul, which is on our sister station, Classic Hits 98.9 WJEZ tonight, and Paxton Buckley Loda. So the winner of this one will get a loss in the column, also fall behind in the conference standings.
Yeah, I think the winner of this one will be the heir apparent to be up there at the top and be fighting for a title. So obviously it's not a season ender week 3 if you lose this one, but you really want to win this one and put yourself in a good position in your conference.
That's exactly right, and a good position for head coach Kevin Brott, who's at the helm of the Saints of Central Catholic. He's been a good position so far this year as the Saints are 2-0 on the year, as we talked about last week, with a nice 34-6 win last week for the Saints of Central Catholic. As we head back to Studio A, our Neil Doyle had a chance to sit down with the coach earlier this week to highlight the matchup tonight between the Panthers and the Saints of Central Catholic.
All right, Coach. Well, another win for you guys in week number 2, a solid victory on the road against Rantoul. Let's just touch on that week 2 performance from your guys and kind of, what you saw and what you liked.
Yeah, we played well right off the get-go. I was little concerned about going on our first road trip and coming off week one where the atmosphere was very, we're at home with a lot of fans, and knowing we're going to go to Rantoul and kind of knowing that atmosphere from the past being there. I thought we brought good energy to the game, got started off well, and played well throughout the whole game. Had a little bit of a lull there in the second quarter, but rallied well and felt like our guys did a good job on both sides of the ball, just kind of taking care of business.
Talk a little bit about Jake Slaughter. I mean, he's meant a lot for your team, over the past couple of seasons, but another solid performance from him last week. I think 3 touchdowns that he scored just in the first half alone. Just talk a little bit about what you saw from him against Rantoul.
Same thing we always see from him. I mean, he's very consistent on both sides of the ball and on special teams with what we ask him to do. Do feel like because we have more weapons this year around him, it allows him a little bit more space than he hasn't had over the last couple of years. He only actually had 13 carries in the football game, but got, I think, somewhere around 175 yards. So I think, the reason we're spreading the ball, or the way that we spread the ball around, is giving him some more opportunities, to run the ball in space. But listen, he's a guy that we're going to rely on, every week, and we know what we're going to get from him, because they're consistent.
And coming out of last week, health-wise, how's the team kind of looking as we head into week 3?
So we're 100% healthy. So, knock on wood, hopefully that stays the same way. We actually get back one of our players that was out the first 2 weeks. We get him back. I actually just got news today that he is cleared to play. That's Isaac Whitaker. He's a safety at corner for us as our second leading tackler last year in the spring. He was coming off labrum surgery, but just got cleared today. So we actually we add a little depth and experience. He's a captain for us, so really feel good about where we're at health-wise.
And your team 2-0 to start the season, that's always got to be a great feeling. Just kind of what's the vibe around the guys? I mean, I'm sure, happy with the start so far, but just kind of where's the energy at with the team, here early in the season, starting off with 2 quick wins?
Yeah, listen, we have a lot of confidence right now, but I also think our guys understand, we're week to week. What we did last week, although that experience can help us on the field, is not going to get us any points or any stops this coming Friday against PBL. So we just kind of reset. We've kind of taken a mentality of you're either elite or you're not. And this week we gotta battle back and get ready for a good opponent in PBL and make sure that we're elite this week.
And you mentioned, going week to week, and that's kind of the mindset right now. But, you start off with the 2 wins, and you guys have been together now throughout the summer and things like that. But any superstitions or any, routines that you guys do as a team, or maybe even yourself as a coach, anything that you're kind of working with right now and maybe some good vibes, starting off 2-0?
Well, I'd definitely be wearing the same shirt I wore on Friday the last 2 weeks. There's no doubt about that. No, I think, I think in sports and athletics in general, there's a lot of superstitions. I think from a coaching standpoint, I mean, we try to keep our schedule pretty much the same, our routine the same. Most football coaches like to control as much as they can control, and that's no different with us. No, I don't think there's any, real superstitions. I'm sure each individual player and coach might have some, but at the end of the day, as long as we play well, I don't think it's going to matter what shirt you're wearing or what socks you wear for the game. But don't get me wrong, that definitely does creep into, I think, everybody's head. And I think it's just natural with competition.
And then just lastly, Coach, let's get into, you talked about a tough opponent in PBL this week. They're also 2-0 to start the year. What scouting have you done on them so far, and kind of what is your guys' game plan against PBL for this week?
Yeah, PBL's really big on both sides of the ball. They got a very good offensive line, very good tight end and middle linebacker. It's going to be one of the best kids we see all year. He's 6'3", 240, runs well. He's just a legitimate, football player that we're going to have to we're going to have to make sure we know where he's at on offense, and we're going to have to make sure that we try to neutralize him on defense. But, yeah, they have a good running game. I think they were kind of like us. They were a little younger in the spring, and now they got some guys that are experienced and have played together for a while. So, I think they feel good about their team too. But I think for us and for them, this week's going to say a lot about where we're at as a team, both, either win or lose. And I think they probably have the same mindset in us. But we're definitely going to have to slow the run game down. They run a couple different backs at you, and they want to run behind that big offensive line, and just kind of grind it out.
Well, Kevin, we always appreciate it, and good luck here in week 3.
Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, look forward to talking to you in the future. Go Saints.
It's head coach Kevin Brock and Neil Doyle back here in studio. We'll head back out to Fred Hundman Memorial Field in just a moment. They're wrapping up the national anthem there just as we get set for kickoff at 7. But let's head back out to Central Catholic High School and wrap it up here with Blake and Eric as we get set for kickoff here at 7. Guys, just a few moments away from kick here this evening.
Just a few moments away from a great kickoff this evening. 2-0 teams, as you heard from the head coach of the Saints, Central Catholic Saints, head coach Kevin Brott. And, it's his third season at the helm. They were 5-10 last year, a 1996 graduate of Central Catholic. So he's back on his home turf and should be a good game tonight.
Yeah, he's an offensive-minded coach, having been at West for such a long time. Kind of came here to become the offensive coach and then ended up being the head coach. Has kind of had a tough start with COVID and taking over a team that was winless, but I think he's got this team headed in the right direction, and he's a positive guy. So I look forward to a good game tonight.
He's got some experience under his belt as well. By the way, 1994 Class 3A state championship team he was a part of. I didn't know that fact before I was looking up this game before tonight, but nonetheless, he's got experience, and his team is 2-0. They take on the Panthers of Paxton Buckley Lota, who are also 2-0. It's a good matchup tonight. It's week number 3 of high school football, and it's all sponsored by Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Lane of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, great eats there, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. We'll be back for kickoff. It's going to be a good one, 75 degrees kickoff temperature. We'll be back for week number 3 of high school football on AM 1230 WJBC and 102.1 FM, WJBC.com.
Let's teach kids smart money habits at a young age. With LLCU Making Sense Youth Accounts, we provide fun, interactive ways for youth to learn about saving, spending, budgeting, and more. Our accounts pay dividends, but also offer free online learning activities and tons of great prizes. We offer 3 different accounts with goals and education appropriate to their age level. Plus, they'll earn prizes for things like saving money, budgeting, earning A's, and reading books. Visit llcu.org for details. Membership is required, federally insured by NCUA. Land of Lincoln Credit Union. Bank on learning more.
No one needs to tell you what kids and pets do to your floors. Add real value to your home with new floors you can take pride in for years to come. Floor Coverings International offers thousands of flooring options, and they bring all samples to your door. Floor Coverings International can transform your living spaces from wood to laminate, carpet to luxury vinyl, and have it installed by their flooring experts. Get a free in-home consultation. Call 309-808-2976 and sign up for an in-home visit from Floor Coverings International today.
Hard work, confidence, and a love of the game. It's not only what makes you successful on the football field, it's what makes us a winning team at O'Brien Hyundai and Normal. Our goal is 100% satisfaction for our customers, and we do whatever it takes to achieve it. So come check out the unbeatable Hyundai lineup at O'Brien. We're talking Sonatas, Tucsons, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. Plus, we've got the Hyundai Elantra. It's the 2021 North American Car of the Year, and all Hyundais come with complimentary maintenance, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Go online now to O'BrienTeamHyundai.com, and with O'Brien Express Car Buying, you can buy your Hyundai 100% online. Plus, let's pump up the team spirit in Normal. Shop local, buy local, and keep our community driving when you purchase at O'Brien Hyundai, your hometown Hyundai dealer. We're #1 in customer loyalty for 11 years in a row. Come see us at O'Brien Hyundai and Normal or online at O'BrienTeamHyundai.com.
O'Brien's got it. Yeah, O'Brien's got it.
According to 2020 Brand Keys Customer Loyalty Engagement Index.
Every day, every single day, you hear about identity theft, whether it's on the radio, in the newspapers, on TV, or online. Now's the time to start protecting yourself with Bank of Pontiac's ID Theft Smart. It's the smart choice for safeguarding your identity. Protection, detection, restoration. ID Theft Smart at Bank of Pontiac is an easy and affordable way to obtain credit monitoring and identity restoration services that give you peace of mind. Stop by any Bank of Pontiac location to sign up for ID Theft Smart, the smart choice for safeguarding your identity. Member FDIC.
How well do you know your insurance company? Are they local? When you call them, do you get a real person on the other end of the phone? Hi, this is Rick Percy from Clemens & Associates. Now more than ever, we are all trying to buy local, keep our costs down, and only pay for what we need. And this should include your insurance. Clemens & Associates is local. We live here just like you do, and we go to work to give you the coverage you need and nothing you don't, all at a fair price. Call us today at 309-662-2100.
Clemens and Associates, the one name you need to know.
High school football on AM 1230, FM 102.1, WJBC.
Well, that's going to wrap up our pregame coverage here on WJBC as we get set for Week 3 and the kickoffs around the area. Our pregame, again, sponsored by Country Financial representatives Melissa Eisenberg and Steve Peterson. We'll have scoring updates throughout the night for all the area games. Several games we'll be tracking. We'll keep you updated. If you have scoring updates, you can tweet us at SportsWJBC is our Twitter handle, or you can give us a call, 309-829-2345. We'll give you those updates throughout the night, but let's head back out to Central Catholic High School, Bill Hunman Memorial Field, as the Saints of Central Catholic host Paxton Buckley Loda, and we head back out with Blake Haas and Eric LePan. Guys, take it away.
It's a mouthful, Neil, but it's going to be a good night for high school football. Week number 3. PBL is how we'll say it all evening long. The Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda, ranked 10th in the Class 3A, take on the Saints of Central Catholic, who are undefeated. Again, I'm Blake Haas, joined alongside Eric LePan tonight. And Eric, some final keys to the game for the Saints of Central Catholic as they get set to receive.
I think it comes down to, I think these are two evenly matched teams, so it comes down to obviously the turnover battle. It's special teams. Saints have a test right away. They're going to take the kickoff. PBL won the toss, deferred to the second half. So special teams and returns are going to be huge. Slaughter's back there, as you mentioned, had a return for a touchdown last week. So if he gets in the open, PBL better be ready.
And Jake Slaughter is deep to receive. The senior this year, he missed 2 games in the spring due to a hamstring injury. But in his sophomore year, had 1,149 yards. He also squats 450 pounds. We'll see that power from the legs tonight as he's deep to receive. The Saints are in their blue jerseys, gold helmets, and week number 3 is underway of high school football. A short kick about the 30-yard line, and one of the Saints is going to return it, and that's going to be number 30, Blaze Killian. He's going to be tackled on the far side by about the 38-yard line, I think is where the line officials are going to mark that one, and here comes the Saints offense.
Yeah, not sure if that was by design. They kind of popped that up in the air, trying to control this return, or we'll see if the kicker maybe has some issues for PBL. We'll keep an eye on that one all night long.
I think the goal is to get the hands out of Jake Slaughter's hands.
I agree. I would do that
at
too.
any point. As Colin Hayes, the sophomore, 6'6" is how he stands tall. A really big guy out there for the Saints. He stands back in the gun formation. Jake Slaughter's to his right. A handoff to Slaughter. He cuts on the inside of the 40-yard line, slashing and dashing to the 50, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds by about the 49-yard line. A pickup of about 9 yards on the play.
First down on the first play, just a sweep to the left. Good blocking on the edge by his receivers. Knows how to turn the corner right at midfield. Nice pickup on the first play of the game.
So looking for the offensive signs from the head coaches across the sidelines for the Saints is Jake Slaughter, who lines up next to his sophomore quarterback, Colin Hayes. He's also a captain on this squad. Slaughter's in motion. Handoff to Slaughter, but he's going to be wrapped up by a bunch of Panthers who drag him down and claw him to about the 49-yard line, a gain of maybe a yard.
It's just kind of one of those jet sweeps. Hayes had the ball for like half a second before he handed it off, so it was kind of a timing play, but PBL brought the house that time, bet on the run play, and got it for the about a yard loss.
So it sets up 2nd and 12. It is a 2-yard loss for Jake Slaughter, so 7 yards rushing so far on the night. There's 11:20 left to go in the first quarter, 0-0 ball game. Back at the gun formation is a sophomore quarterback, Colin Hayes. Boy, he's a tall fella, corn-fed, 6'6". He looks to pass the ball. He finds his first wide receiver on the far side. It looks like it's going to be Jake Slaughter there on the outside, so a pickup about 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, they're going to put Slaughter all over the place in the backfield. They're going to split him wide. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's dangerous, and they're going to use him practically in some way, shape, or form on every play.
Last week, Jake Slaughter, as you heard in the pregame, had 4 touchdowns. 2 of those were running touchdowns, 1 kickoff return, and a receiving touchdown, which I'm sure that's why you saw the Panthers kick things kind of short on the kickoff. But it's second and about 4 or 5 yards. And it looks like Hayes is going to line up in the gun formation once again. 1 wide receiver in motion, 1 on the near side. A fake handoff to 1 wide receiver, but gives it to Slaughter. And he's swallowed up by a wall of Panthers. And in on the tackle is number 65, Aiden Kozovec. My apologies, his last name is spelled Kavajecz. It's like I'm playing a game of Scrabble over here.
That's lots of points right there in Scrabble. Yeah, I think PBL's just daring the Saints to throw. They've got 10 men in the box, and it looks like the Saints are going to go for it.
4th and 10. Hayes is trying to get the Panthers to go offside to try to get some yards up.
Might pooch punt here. We'll see. Epps drops back.
Drops back. Nice call there by Eric LePan. The kick is off. Short kick bounces about the 30, and it takes a nice Saints roll to about the 4 to the 5 yard line. A beautiful roll for the Saints, and that's going to set up offense for the 2-0 and 10th ranked Panthers by about the 4 yard line. Nice kick.
Colin Hayes can do it all, and a nice job of trying to draw them off sides. It was still, even if they jumped, it was more than 5 yards. It still would have brought up 4th, maybe 4th and shorter than they wanted, but they still would have had to go for it. But a nice kind of a quick kick, pinning PBL deep. So we'll see if the Saints defense digs in here, can get a short field and get a quick out.
That brings on the offense of Paxton Buckley Loda. Mason Bruns runs the offense for the Panthers. He's 6'3", 160 pounds. He's also the captain for the squad of the Panthers, who lost the coin toss, but they set up on offense by about the 4 yard line. 1st and 10. A handoff and slicing and dicing his way to about the 18 yard line. It looks like it's Ty Graham on the carry. So a pickup of about 12 or 13 yards on the play.
Just a quick hitter right up the middle. Good push by the offensive line of PBL. Kind of gets them out of the shadow of their own end zone. 1st down out to the 14 yard line.
So Graham is the running back, and he gets the ball in the first play. It sets up 2nd and 2. 1 wide receiver on the near side, 1 on the far side. 2 running backs sitting alongside Bruns, the quarterback. He hands things off to his running back once again, and he finds some blocking, and he advances to about the 33 yard line. And in on the carry, it looks like it's going to be number 33, Tyler Smith, the senior, who is 5'8", 180 pounds.
Good run, just bursts up the middle. I think that's what the Saints are going to see most of this ball game. Just ball control, keep it on the ground, and right up the gut.
So 8:45 left to go in the first quarter. 0-0 ball game between Paxton Buckley Loda and the Saints of Central Catholic. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. A lot of movement on defense for the Saints. Another handoff once again, and swallowed up by Jake Slaughter. My apologies, by number 34. That's Cole Phillips in on the tackle.
John Rossi also in there for the Saints. Just read that, ran down the line, and made the tackle for about no gain.
Saints in those blue jerseys with the gold numbers, but once they get a little sweaty, those numbers start to bend, and the 3 looks like a 2. Within the jerseys. Now the Panthers, on the other hand, wearing those white jerseys, blue numbers, and also that blue 2 stripes like a race car on the side of their shoulders, and a nice blue helmet. 3 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side. Bruns back in the shotgun, 1 wide receiver in motion. A handoff once again, and finding some blocking is going to be their senior running back, but he gets swallowed up by a wall of Saints, and in on the carry was Will Adams. My apologies, he's a junior, 5'10", 170 pounds. A gain of maybe a yard. Actually, a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Charlie Pound, the running back, and he got nowhere. Good pursuit that time by the Saints. A good open field stop by Central Catholic, and then help to cause that 2 yard loss.
So it sets up 3rd and 12. Huge play for the Panthers here. Good crowd on hand tonight. It's also senior night for the Saints of Central Catholic, honoring the band and the senior football players. And also wide out for the student section. First game in 2 years here at Bill Hudman Memorial Field. Bruns back in the shotgun. He finds one of his wide receivers on the far side. Has a couple of blocking. Will he have enough for a first down? That's the question.
It looks like he's going to be short, and a nice open field tackle by the Saints' number 1, Ryan Haferly, just got in there, and that's going to be close.
Caden Snelling in on the catch. Will they bring out the chain game to measure this one? It's going to be close.
And they're going to say first down.
Wow, that's a close call there, but first down, and that's a huge play for the Panthers.
Aggressive defense called that screen. Perfect time to call a screen is when the defense is going to go after that quarterback, and they got the right play call, got out to the 35. Their third first down of this drive.
So 1st and 10, balls on the 35, 6:40 left to go, 0-0 ball game between the Saints and the Panthers. The handoff once again, breaks a couple of tackles, hits the spin move like a video game, and dances his way to about the 43-yard line, and carrying the ball is number 33, Tyler Smith, the 5'8 senior.
Just off right tackle, big hole, spin move, picks up 6. So PBL able to move the football here on this opening drive, started all the way back on their 5-yard line.
2nd and 4, balls at the 41-yard line. Panthers have been marching downfield, only throwing one pass play so far in this set. Maybe they'll throw a pass play here. One wide receiver on the near side, 3 on the far side, lined up right next to each other. Another handoff play. And getting swallowed up by a bunch of Saints. Game tackled by number 33 Phillips, or 34 Phillips was in on the tackle.
Ian Whitaker also in there with Slaughter, and Slaughter plays both ways, has a nose for the football, and that was a nice tackle that time. Kind of that bunch set made you think that they were going to throw, and they just kind of ran with Smith, and he couldn't get outside.
So now Paxton Buckley Lotus, 3rd and 7. This is a huge stop if the Saints can stop him here. This is a big play here in the first quarter for the 10th-ranked Panthers.
Well, I think that's what they wanted, to put them in 3rd and long, make Mason Burns throw the football.
And he does it. He hands it off once again, and that's at least the first down to the 50, 45-40. High-running on the sideline and gets pushed out of bounds. A huge carry for number 33, Tyler Smith for the Panthers, and that's a big pickup for the 10th-ranked Panthers.
Yeah, just left side, got in the open. Nice touchdown saving tackle by the DBs of Saints, or Smith is gone. Got down to the 35, actually stepped out of bounds over on the 35, so a little bit shorter run than we thought, but another first down for the Panthers.
In the pregame interview, we heard from head coach Kevin Brott. He said, this is the toughest, most aggressive team I've ever coached. They're going to have to be tough on this set because it's 1st and 10. And ball's on the 35-yard line, the same 35-yard line. The Panthers are knocking on the door. 3 wide receivers on the near side. One's in motion. A pitch to one of the running backs, trying to find a hole. He finds one, advances about the 28-yard line. And it looks like number 12 was in on the carry, and that's O'Quinn Gerdes. First name O''Quinn, regular spelling, Gerdes, Gerdes, in on the carry.
Jacob Gronsky making that run, and had a couple of Saints whiff at the line of scrimmage, or that should have been stuffed, but he did a good job of picking up some yardage, about 4, bringing up 2nd down and 6.
So 2nd and 6, 4:11 left to go in the first quarter. 0-0 ball game between the Saints and the Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda. Bruns hands things off once again and gets swallowed up by a wall of Saints, but still gains probably a first down on the carry, may be close.
Spotting him around the 22, that will be short by about a yard or so. Maybe a knee went down.
So 2 plays back to back, and that's Smith in on the carry in both plays, and it seems like they're going to the run game tonight. And did you expect that, the Panthers?
I think they're going to mix it up. I think they want to establish the run early on in this one, and a ball control drive. They've already eaten up half of this first quarter, so I think they're trying to establish some things early on.
And a handoff once again, advancing to 30, 20. He slices and dices his way to about the 13-yard line once again. Tyler Smith, he's been doing it all so far for the Panthers here in the first quarter and racking up the yards here in the first quarter.
5 rushes for 55 yards already for Smith, and he has gotten into the secondary of Central Catholic, and that's not where they want him to be because he has good lateral movements, and he's been able to juke some players and get those extra yards.
And Coach Kevin Broad realizes that as he brings in his senior DB, Ryan Haferly, the captain. He gets back out there after not being in last play, trying to get a breather. Panthers knocking on the door. It's 1st and 10. Ball's about the 12-yard line or so. 1st and 10. Runs, hands things off once again, and a nice tackle by the Saints into swallowed up and pull the offense of the Panthers. In on the tackle, number 34, Robert Boyd. Nice tackle.
Yeah, just kind of read it, came off the end, knows what the play call is, and got the play call, and also Ian Whitaker in on that play, making the stop.
My apologies. In on the tackle was Ian Whitaker, not Ryan Cole. My apologies. So Ian Whitaker in on the tackle. Sets up 2nd and 10.
2-yard loss, so it's going to be 2nd and 12, Blake.
Oh, my apologies. 2nd and 12. And that's going to get fooling the Saints. A flag is thrown, the first one of the night.
It's going to be 2nd and 7 now.
That's 2nd and 7 as the Saints jump off sides. And that's 2 minutes and 9 seconds left to go in the first quarter. 0-0 ball game as the first flag has been thrown tonight.
Yeah, Saints a little antsy at the line, trying to get in the backfield. They know PBL is running it predominantly right now. It can't be drawn into a screen that we saw earlier that went for big yardage. So got to stay home and find your gap.
So Bruns is going to line up in the shotgun formation, has Tyler Smith, the workhorse for the Panthers, right next to him. 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side, trying to get the Saints to jump off sides. And a timeout has been called for Paxton Buckley Loda with about minute 49 left to go in the first quarter. Still a 0-0 ball game. While we have the opportunity, let's check into Studio A with Neil Doyle and check on scores around the area.
Yeah, a couple of scoring updates for you guys during the timeout. Normal Community on the board first during their senior night contest against Peoria Richwoods. Ironman up 7-0 in the first quarter. Eureka Hornets are also the first to score in their game with Hayworth. Hornets are leading the other team, Hornets, 2 Hornets, I should say, both Eureka and Hayworth with the same mascot, but it's Eureka up 7-0 in that one. Heart of Illinois Conference game there. Tremont first to strike. They're up 8-0 over the Panthers of Leroy. Those are some of our high school football scoring updates so far. We've told you U-High a win with a forfeit tonight. Lanphier having to cancel that game due to COVID concerns in their program. We'll keep track of Major League Baseball. Cubs lost earlier today against the Giants 6-1. White Sox and Cardinals just getting started tonight. ISU volleyball playing in the Flyer Raider Invitational in Dayton, Ohio. Redbirds falling in 4 sets against Central Michigan. We'll keep you updated with the scores throughout the evening, but let's get back out to Central Catholic with PBL driving here in the first quarter.
And PBL is knocking on the door. Eric, timeout there by the Panthers as we rejoin. What do you think the conversation was for the Saints?
I think the Saints have mixed up their defense, and they have a good drive going, opening drive. This is the 13th play of this drive that started into the 5. I think they just wanted to know what play call with that Saints defense.
Bruns back in the shotgun. 1 wide receiver that's a tight end in motion. 2 on the near side. A fake handoff. Bruns looking for someone deep. He's getting chased out of the pocket. He's going to take things himself. Trying to run away from a defender on the 10-yard line, and he advances to about the 6-yard line. Just nothing there, and I think that timeout really helped the Saints organize their defense and really blocked Bruns from passing the ball.
Yeah, good blocking up front by PBL, giving Bruns all day and had nowhere to go, so just tucked it away and got down to the 8-yard line, so a gain of 3. Brings up 3rd down, but a nice job by the secondary of Central Catholic shutting that down because that was a pass play all the way.
As Bruns had some nice pass plays last week and a nice 28-win of the Gray Ghost of Illinois Valley. And trying to find something over the air tonight, but has been unsuccessful as they've been really handing things off to Tyler Smith, the workhorse running back.
This is definitely 4-down territory right here on this opening drive.
3rd and 7, 15th play of this possession. A handoff now to the 10-yard line, trying to find his way into the end zone. Is he there? No, a wall of Saints will stop him. Tyler Smith is there with the ball carry, but just ran into a wall of Saints.
Good burst, but then a couple of linebackers from the Saints filled that hole, got down to the 4. So a gain of 4, but it's 4th and a yard, so they can still get the first down at around the 3-yard line. So we'll see what happens here. You don't have to go for the touchdown. You can move the chains and reset everything. So we'll see if we get another run up the middle, or you put it in Brunn's hands to just kind of RPO.
Or do you follow your blockers and Jack Pryor is on the line, a 5'8", and also a 280-pound senior on the line. I think a timeout will be called.
Yeah, Kevin Brock was all the way down by the 5-yard line, so I think he wanted a timeout. Wants to talk it over with his defense on the biggest play of this game so far.
So the biggest play of the game is just around the corner with 44 seconds left to go in the first quarter, 0-0 ball game. If you're just tuning in, it's been a good one so far, and it's been what it was all made out to be. And by the way, our sponsors of high school football is Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. So now it sets up 4th and 2. If you're the coach of the Saints, what are you talking about?
Well, I think they're just saying don't get bought on the fake. If they do some play action, we need some penetration. We got to force Bruns to run it, get him outside. We need to keep our cover, got to stay on your man, because they might try and go to the end zone. But remember, they just need that 1.5 yards to get a first down and just get new set of downs. So don't need to get in the end zone. So you got to make sure everybody's on the same page.
And hopefully they don't go offsides on this one, too, like they have earlier. They're going to pack it in for the Paxton Buckley load, and they have some big guys there on the defensive line, or offensive line. We'll talk about it in a second. Braun's back in the shotgun. New quarterback as well. He's going to keep it himself, trying to follow a wall. He gets the first down. Does he have a touchdown? He extends the arm. Does he have it? The official's going to say no, but that is a first down. Now, 1st and goal, and maybe just inches away from a touchdown.
Wasn't sure. They just put one of the big guys in there, one of the road graders, and said, get us a first down right up the gut. Not sure who carried that ball. It might have been number 21 for Paxton Buckley Loda.
Jacob Gronsky in on the carry, but they're following the blockers of one of those big guys, Kendall Swanson, the junior, 6'1", 280. They also have some bigger guys than that, and Aaron Kozveski, my apologies if I'm mispronouncing his last name, 6'2", 265. Plus, they also have a offensive lineman, Brandon Knight. He's 6'3", 215. So they got a lot of corn-fed boys.
Looks like they put Caden Snelling back there, a junior, 6'2", 225, and just said, go get us a first down. And he did. Got just enough. Looked like they're going to spot him down around the 1 yard line. So now it's 1st and goal from the 1. And it's just open up the playbook here. You can run practically anything you want. So you got 4 cracks at it. And we'll see what PBL does, but they're going to have to do it in the second quarter.
And they are going to have to do it in the second quarter. That ends our first quarter of action, a 0-0 ball game. We're just minutes away from the first score of this game, or if the Saints can stop them, we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, it's 0-0 between the Saints of Central Catholic and the Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda. That wraps up our first quarter. We'll head to a break, but we'll come back and get some scores for you and the score of this one. You're listening to High School Football. You're on AM 1230 and 102.1 FM, WJBC and WJBC.com.
When you're thinking lunch, think Gill Street Sports Bar and Restaurant. Spice up your day with some delicious appetizers, wings, wraps, and signature sandwiches. Gill Street is the perfect party place before and after the big game. They have plenty of TVs to catch all of your...
Axe throwing is here at Gill Street. Sign up now at rocketaxe.com and make reservations now for all your upcoming big celebrations at Gill Street.
Great food and drinks, it's time to unwind. Gill Street Sports Bar. It's Gill 30 time.
Let's teach kids smart money habits at a young age. With LLCU Making Sense Youth Accounts, we provide fun, interactive ways for youth to learn about saving, spending, budgeting, and more. Our accounts pay dividends, but also offer free online learning activities and tons of great prizes. We offer 3 different accounts with goals and education appropriate to their age level. Plus, they'll earn prizes for things like saving money, budgeting, earning A's, and reading books. Visit llcu.org for details. Membership is required, federally insured by NCUA. Land of Lincoln Credit Union. Bank on learning more.
The voice for high school sports. AM 1230 WJBC and WJBC.com.
And welcome into the second quarter of high school football, week number 3. The Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda knocking on the wall. It's first and goal. Ball's on the 1-yard line, trying to get the Saints off sides. A handoff is going to go to the running back. Is he in? No. It's a big question. Just stopped at the line. Tyler Smith, the senior running back, is stopped, so he gains maybe an inch or two on the carry.
Stood up at the line of scrimmage. Nice stop on first down. Brings up second and goal. And PBL quickly up at the line.
No huddle offense for PBL as Bruns is back in the shotgun. Hands things off. Now is he in? It could be a touchdown. And it is a touchdown, but a wall of players into the end zone. The first score of week number 3 of high school football on WJBC goes to Paxton Buckley Loda.
Not sure who carried that. It was a sea of humanity out there. I think it was Charlie Pound, number 2, who had that 2-yard loss in his first carry, but I think they gave him the ball there at the goal line, and he got in from 1 yard out.
Basically, they just wrapped everybody up in one giant circle and just went forward as hard as they could, as they will go for the 2-point conversion on this one. So Bruns is back in the shotgun, lining up a little differently, a weird offense for the Paxton Buckley Loda, trying to run a trick play. It's a sweep on the near side, trying to find something, and he gets wrapped up by Saint, and a 2-point conversion is no good.
Well, we talked about the opening kick was kind of a little weak, and the kicking game for PBL might not be their strong suit, so we'll see if they continue to go for 2 all night long.
In fact, looking at the roster, they don't even have a kicker listed on the roster.
Well, that kind of says everything right there, doesn't it?
So the score is Paxton Buckley Loda 6, Saints of Central Catholic 0, 11:31 left to go in the second quarter. While we have time, let's head back to Studio 8. Neil Doyle's got updates around the area.
Yeah, some scoring updates for you here early in the first half of games across the area. Normal Community up 14-0 now over Peoria Richwoods. That one heading to the second quarter. Eureka Hornets on the board again against the Hayworth Hornets. It's Eureka up 2 scores, 14-0. Another touchdown for Tremont as they lead Leroy 16-0. And Tri-Valley on the board as they're on the road against Ridgeview. The Vikings lead the Mustangs 7-0. If you have scoring updates, you can tweet us on Twitter at SportsWJBC. If you're out at a game and want to update us as well, you can give us a call, 309-829-2345. Major League Baseball, the White Sox and the Cardinals just getting underway tonight. Scoreless in both of those games. Cubs lost earlier this afternoon, 6-1 against San Francisco. ISU Volleyball, a 4-set loss earlier today in the Flyer Raider Invitational. That's being played in Dayton, Ohio. And ISU Volleyball losing to Central Michigan. And plenty of college football. Illinois State on the road against Western Michigan tomorrow. You can hear that game at 3 o'clock here on WJBC on Saturday. Illinois Wesleyan with the week off, and U of I football on the road against Virginia. Keep you updated on the scores throughout the evening, but let's get back out to Central Catholic as the Saints will receive the kickoff here after that score from PBL.
Yeah, we're getting up and getting ready for kickoff as Paxton Buckley Loda kicks it deep to about the 20-yard line. Ryan Perch is there, advances to about the 22, advances ahead to about the 25-yard line, then gets drugged down about the 31. So that's where the Saints will set up offense. By the way, another score into the first quarter. Normal West and Champaign Centennial tied at 0 apiece.
Well, that was a 16-play, 95-yard opening drive by PBL. So they are trying to set the tone early in this one.
And the Saints trying to set the tone now as they hand things off to the senior star running back, Jake Slaughter, who picks up a first down for the Saints, and that moves the chain gang once again.
Just a power right, and you got a powerful running back. A couple of big carries already in this one, but just strength on strength, big run on first down. Got out to across or to the 40-yard line, so a nice pickup of 11 by Slaughter on first down.
And it's just a matter of a foot race for Jake Slaughter as that defensive lineman for the Panthers, led by Bo Snyder, senior, 6 foot, 255 pounds. That's a big boy for a high school senior. Slaughter gets handoff once again, a fake handoff, I should say, and instead it'll be kept by the sophomore quarterback, and that's Colin Hayes. He's going to keep things himself.
Yeah, just kind of that read option, tucked it away, did not hand it off. Not a lot of speed getting outside, and PBL stayed home and brought down Hayes right at the line of scrimmage, so no gain.
And for just tuning in, thanks for joining us. We're in the second quarter. I'm Blake Haas. Eric LePan sits next to me, and it's 6-0. Paxton Buckley Loda leading Central Catholic. 10:30 left to go in the second quarter. So the quarterback's looking for something and just throwing way in advance, and that's Colin Hayes, the quarterback, looking for his wide receiver, Ryan Haferly, the 6'4", 200-pound junior wide receiver, just throwing way ahead of him.
Just kind of the slant there and just led him too far. Maybe had a little bit too much zing on it, and Haferly really wasn't ready for it. Not sure if he could have caught it even if he got there.
Beautiful night for high school football. 64 degrees is the temperature. Nice crowd tonight on hand. Lots of seats are filled. A whiteout for the seniors as the sophomore is going to keep things himself. The quarterback for the Saints, he escapes one defensive lineman but throws it away. That's sophomore quarterback Colin Hayes. The problem is he's 6'6". His other wide receivers aren't 6'6", so you got to kind of throw the ball downhill instead of uphill.
Well, tough throw. Had to scramble outside to his left, throwing across his body to his left, and just kind of left it a little bit short on third down. So now it's all of a sudden fourth down after 3 quick plays. So it looks like the Saints are going to kind of do that same play where they try and draw them off sides and maybe pooch punt.
4th and 10. Are they going to pooch punt it? That's the question. Looking for signs on the sidelines as Hayes, the quarterback, looking at Kevin Brott. Brott has his hands over his mouth. The question is that a sign? And Hayes is back in the shotgun formation. They're going to go for it. Now he steps back for the pooch punt. Trying to get the Panthers off sides. He's going to kick things away. A high kick. Bounces about the 38-yard line. You hear the wind in the background. It takes a nice little Saints roll. Ends up about the 33-yard line. So, Eric, that's not the way you want to set things up offensively. And Saints aren't looking as good as they did last week offensively.
Yeah, they're not really in sync. They're trying to move the ball around. They don't want to burn Jake Slaughter out right away by running him too much in the first quarter. Have to spread the ball around. I have to say I'm impressed with PBL's defense so far. They've done a good job of kind of staying contained, staying at home, and not allowing the Saints to dictate things. So just a couple of quick series for Saints. Only 5 plays on the first drive and a 3-and-out there. Now PBL has the ball back.
PBL first in the Illini Prairie Conference, tied alongside the Saints. So this is a battle for first place. Also, PBL joined the conference just this year. They're ranked 10th in the state in the Class 3A, and they have the people to prove it. I mean, they have a lot of big guys out there. Nonetheless, the offense has set up a quarterback keeper on the far side, trying to find something but slides like a baseball player. It's Mason Bruns on the far side, a gain of maybe a yard or a loss of a yard.
Because it's where he starts his slide, so they're going to say a loss of 1 in that time, and Mason Bruns just kind of got outside, had nowhere to go. Good pursuit that time by Central Catholic, just slid and ended the play, but not sure if he was looking to throw the football or if that was a design run by the quarterback, but good play by the Saints defense on first down, causing a 2nd and long.
2nd and 10. 9:30 left to go in the second quarter. PBL leads Central Catholic 6-0. Bruns patches his shoulders, so that means it's a pass play almost picked off by one of the Saints defenders, and that was almost picked off by John Rossi, the 6'3", 175-pound junior, almost Odell Beckham, the one-hand catch, going for a pick 6.
Nice job of Rossi just reading that play, got in there, couldn't break it up with his hands, came close, but just kind of busted that play up, and that was kind of the poorly underthrown ball by Bruns as they were just doing that quick out.
Exactly right, and now it sets up now 3rd and 10.
And stops the clock, so it's exactly what the Saints want. They're going to have a little bit of extra time here in the second quarter if they can get a stop here.
3 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side.
We got 3 receivers and only 2 defenders.
Bruns is going to keep things himself, advancing to the 40. He's got enough for a first down, maybe. It's a pickup of about 8 yards. That sets out 4th and down, but a flag has been thrown, and you hear from the fans, the oohs and ahs.
Late flag.
First-time fans have been here since 2019, and they're frustrated.
Well, Bruns' helmet came off late. It was a high tackle. I'm not sure the officials are talking it over whether this is going to be a personal foul on Central Catholic or not. Was it late flag and the officials signaling face mask? So that's going to hurt Central Catholic because Bruns was about a yard short of that first down.
It would have been 4th down and 1, but as the officials discuss what happened there about the 40-yard line, I think they may be ordering pizza for after the game, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens here.
Still talking it over, but I think this is going to stand against Central Catholic. Yep.
So it is
Personal
against
foul.
Central Catholic, a personal foul, and that's going to cost them some yards.
So its ball was on the 42, so it's going to take them into Central Catholic territory, and that's a tough one. When you get the stop you wanted, you force the quarterback to roll out. He comes up a yard short. Looks like you're going to get off the field and get a punt situation, but then personal foul of 15, and now it's 1st and 10 for PBL.
Robert Boyd is out there for the Saints, pointing towards Paxton Buckley Loda, but he's getting kind of pushed away from a couple of Saints players, and everyone will march down the field. So that's a big penalty against the Saints, and it's 9 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 6-0.
Yeah, I think Coach Brock wants a clarification on that one. And the helmet did come off of Bruns.
So official's going to walk over to the head coach of the Saints, kind of talk things over. And he puts head coach Saints Kevin Brock puts his headset back on, gives a thumbs up, and we're set to go. So that's 1st and 10 now. Ball's on the 46-yard line. Bruns is back in the gun. May see a timeout here as the official waves his hands up in the air. Does he have to come out for a play? Because his helmet came off.
Well, I think that's a rule in college. I don't believe it's a rule in high school, but the officials are talking about it. He might have to come off. He's kind of looking to the side. Number 10 is slowly coming from his wideout position. He had run the ball earlier. So a little confusion out there right now by the officials trying to figure out if the spot's wrong. So they're going to move the football, and I thought it was wrong. I thought it should have been at the 44, and they put it at the 46. Wasn't going to say anything, but
what you just did.
They marked off 13 yards instead of 15. That's the play. Bruns will stay in.
So Bruns is going to stay in as he's got that white jersey on, white shoulder pads as well. He hands things off to one of his running backs. He finds some blockers at pickup of about 2 yards on the play. A carry by O'Quinn Gerdes, the 5'10 senior, the ball carrier.
Yeah, Gerdes a couple of carries in this one, so they're mixing the ball around. Tyler Smith getting most of the carries so far, but they're trying to keep everybody fresh, keep that clock running. They're trying to shorten this game, PBL. They're going to keep it on the ground, and so far they're doing a good job.
Play a little small ball for the Panthers. 2nd and 9. 8 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Panthers lead Central Catholic 6-0. Bruns back in the gun. One wide receiver on the near side. One's in motion, a fake handoff, but he finds one of his wide receivers for a run. He's not blocking, and he advances to about the 33-yard line, and the ball carrier was Tyler Smith once again. And he's done pretty much the whole load for the Panthers tonight at running back.
Yeah, just following his offensive line. One of the big guys up front, Brandon Knight, just right behind him all the way, kind of using him as a shield, and a good shield. And 6'3", 215 in Knight just ran right behind him and got the first down, moved the chains, and keeps this drive alive.
Normal Community up huge, and after the first quarter, they're up 28-0 against the Knights. Here at Bill Hudman Memorial Field on the campus of Central Catholic, it's Paxton Buckley Loda 6, Central Catholic 0, 7:45 left to go. Bruns is back in the gun. Saints may blitz on the play. They bring their DBs in, and they're going to find a running back for Paxton Buckley Loda, and he gets drugged down by about the 31-yard line, a gain of maybe a yard.
Another new running back, and Robert Blackburn in there to take that deep pitch, trying to bounce outside, got a couple of yards, but good pursuit that time for the Saints. Stopping him for just a short game brings up now 2nd down and 8.
By the way, high school football tonight, it's Eric LePan's voice you just heard. I'm Blake Haas, but high school football is sponsored by Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Lane of Lincoln Credit Union. As Brun gets a bad snap, but he passes it for the second time. He finds a running back who's got blocking, advances to the 20, to the 15, and gets drug out outside of the out-of-bounds line by about the 15-yard line. A pickup of about 20 or some yards.
Kind of a wild pass that time, and good pursuit at the very beginning. Ian Whitaker was in the backfield, misses the tackle, and that allows Smith to get all the way down inside the 20, down near the 17-yard line. So what could have been a loss ends up being a first down for PBL.
High school football is also sponsored by Gill Street Restaurant and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. First and 10, 6:30 left to go. Ball's on the 18-yard line. A handoff to one of the running backs once again. They're intermixing him, and he dodges one of the Saints tacklers, and he advances to about the 12-yard line. And in on the carry was Tyler Smith, once again, the senior ball carrier.
Just kind of one of those low-to-the-ground type guys. Lowers his shoulder, hard to bring down. Nice pickup on first down of 5. Gets down to the 12-yard line, and Smith already over 70 yards here on the night on the ground.
6 minutes left to go. The clock continues to tick. Panthers have eaten a lot of clock tonight offensively. We're under 6 minutes now as Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 6-0.
Yeah, it's not even 7:40, and we're approaching halftime, so this game is flying by.
I feel sorry for Neil Doyle in Studio A. He may have a lot of time to carry as we have it high school football until 10 o'clock tonight here on WJBC. Bruns hands things off to his running back once again is Smith. And he runs into a couple of Saints and picks up maybe 3 or 4 yards on the carry.
But he's got that spin move at point of contact, and that's exactly what he did around the 10 and spun and got those couple extra yards to move the chains. So it should be first and goal, Paxton Buckley Loda.
He's like a video game player. As soon as he reaches defenders, he presses circle and does a spin move, and he advances a couple more yards. And nonetheless, I'm sure he'll get the ball once again. Clock continues to tick.
Looks like he's about a half yard short, so this is 3rd down and 1 for PBL inside the 10.
So 3rd and 1. Bruns is back in the shotgun. A handoff once again to Smith, and he advances to about the 6 or 7 yard. They're just going to play bully ball all night.
Well, the PBL offensive line is dominating this game so far. They are getting the push up front, and that's all that Tyler Smith needs, just that little bit of push, and he can find the seam, and he's hard to bring down. So it's first and goal, PBL at the Saints 5-yard line.
And it makes a world of a difference when you have 4 or 5 guys away 250 plus versus 190 pounds. 50 pounds, 60 pounds is a huge difference in high school.
As you mentioned, corn-fed young men out there at Paxton Buckley Loda are on that line, and they are big and burly, and they are blocking the Saints defensive line.
There's no way these kids have massive long beards like they're in high school. 4:20 left to go. Handoff to Smith. He's drugged back by a wall of Saints, and we're seeing him push back. The Saints are saying, you may have the weight on me, but I got the muscle on that play.
A good pursuit that time. A lot of blue jerseys in the backfield. First one there, number 2 for Central Catholic. It was in the backfield right away and got the stop for loss, and that's Will Adams.
Will Adams, the 5'10", 170-pound junior linebacker. Part of the gang tackle there. 3:50 left to go before halftime. Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 6-0.
2-yard loss, so that's what you want when it's first and goal. They've had a couple of plays now inside the 5. See what the Saints defense, if they just go run only, but just when you do, that's when PBL comes out with a 3 wide receiver set.
2nd and goal. Ball's on the 6-yard line. Bruns is trying to get the Saints to go outside. They may blitz on this play. Bruns messing with his face mask, now pulls it back down, and he's getting set. He gets the handoff, goes to Smith. He's trying to find blockers. He slices and dices his way into the end zone. A touchdown for Paxton Buckley Loda, and that'll make it 12-0. A nice carry by Smith. Tyler Smith, the senior, 5'8", 180 pounds, is in for his 2nd score of the night.
Nice patient run, nothing inside, so he kept it going, bounced outside, got the blockers on the edge, and goes into the end zone virtually untouched. So a nice 7-yard run by that young man. He's got 11 carries on the night for 80 yards and now a touchdown.
That's not a bad first half. I wouldn't say so myself. With 3:15 left to go, Paxton Buckley Loda is going to go for 2. As we talked about all night, the punter and kicker situation is a little skim for Paxton Buckley Loda. Bruns is going to take things himself, throws it up overhead, trying to find his tight end, and he just can't find anything there. He was looking for number 17, Caden Snelling, 6'2", 225, but just can't find him. And then it'll be 12-0. Paxton Buckley Loda leads the leads Central Catholic Saints 12-0. 3:15 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
So a couple of long drives by PBL, just a long ground churning play clock running down drives that really has set the tone in this one. And again, I think they want to try and shorten this game, and they want to keep an offense that the Saints have been very productive in the first 2 weeks, averaging 40 points a game, and they are shutting them out by controlling the football and keeping it out of the Saints' hands.
And we're keeping tabs on other Illini Prairie games as Monticello trails Olympia. Huge lead there by Olympia. Not a huge lead, but 8-7, 11:47 left to go in the second quarter. A nice lead so far there for Olympia against the Sages of Monticello, who, by the way, are in first place in the Illini Prairie Conference.
3 teams ranked in the state of Illinois in the Illini Prairie, so a tough conference, one of the toughest around 3A conference schools in central Illinois. So you got to be ready to come to work every Friday night. And again, Blake, another long drive by PBL. That one was 14 plays, 69 yards for the touchdown.
Nice. So it is 3:15 left to go in the second quarter, 12-0. Panthers going to kick things away. A nice kick, and it's going to go to about the 10-yard line. And stepping out of bounds is one of the Saints. He just couldn't do it to bring it back in bounds, so he's going to step out of bounds.
Yeah, you got to know where you're at. You got to let that one go. It was clearly going out of bounds, which would have been a penalty. Brought it out to the 35, but he ran out of bounds at the 14, and now exactly what the Saints didn't want to happen. They're 86 yards from the end zone with just over 3 minutes to go before halftime, and you're getting shut out 12-0.
That's Rye Pertz, who was deep to receive and just stepped out of bounds. So not a good setup for the Saints, who are standing about the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Again, 12-0. Paxton Buckley loaded leading Central Catholic. 3:15 left to go in the second quarter. Hand off to Slaughter. He finds a couple of blockers. He finds another one, but a flag has been thrown. Slaughter's still on the ground and running, and he picks up about 20 yards, but a flag was thrown and may be holding in the back.
Yeah, best run of the night for Jake Slaughter, and this is probably coming back on a hold for Central Catholic.
I thought I saw a holding in the back by about the far side, and it may be against Central Catholic.
They spot the ball down after the run of 15, but have yet to make the signal call, and it is holding against Central Catholic. Spot foul, so we'll see exactly where this one was, where they mark off the 10 yards.
10-yard spot foul. So a 10-yard spot foul. The ball was on the 14-yard line, so we'll see what happens here. The officials just keep walking with the ball. They keep walking. They're going to end up in the end zone. Wow, that's a big foul.
Well, it should be half the distance if it's inside the 10, and that seems like a huge penalty.
That's the ball's on the 6-yard line. It was on the 14. Wouldn't it be the 7 if it was half?
I would agree with you there, but got to go with the 6. That's where the officials mark it.
So ball, I guess, is on the 6-yard line. It's up first and a lot. And can't find any one of his wide receivers. Is the quarterback for Central Catholic, Colin Hayes. Just can't find anyone, so he throws it over the arms of one of the wide receivers.
Yeah, just a quick release that time. Hayes didn't kind of really wait till his receiver got open, and Bo Mays, and overthrew him out there in the flats on second down. Well, repeat of first down. So it'll bring up second down and a mile. It'll be almost 20. The scoreboard says second down and 19. So Saints might be throwing it again here on second down.
Just throw it long and see if somebody can tag it down is kind of the goal plan. Looks
like offsides on PBL, so they're going to give 5 of that back.
Indication is offsides against the Panthers. So that'll move the chains a little bit. You hear the crowd tonight clapping their hands.
Kind of a Bronx cheer. I think that's the first flag on PBL so far in this game. So they've played a clean game, and obviously that's why they lead 12-0.
So it is 12-0 with 2:55 left to go in the second quarter. Paxton Buckley loaded leading Central Catholic. Hayes is back in the gun looking for signs from the sidelines. Officials waving their arms up and down. Looks like they're doing dance moves, but it's signs. As Hayes is back in the gun. He finds one of his wide receivers who has blocking. He's got one blocker in front of him and gets tackled about the 21-yard line. So a pickup of about 6 or 7 yards on the play.
Just a quick out to Slaughter, who knows how to get going very fast. Doesn't take him long to get to top speed. Nice play call on second down. Got a lot of that yardage back. Makes now this 3rd down and 4 very manageable for Central Catholic. So we got to somehow involve Jake Slaughter in the offense in some way.
I would have to say you hand things off to Jake Slaughter here, maybe on a sweep, but we'll see what happens. Saints trying to get the Panthers to go offside. Hayes claps his hands a couple of times. Almost has like an Aaron Rodgers count as he's back in the gun, looking for one of his wide receivers, and he's got room, and he makes a catch about the 30-yard line. A first down by the Saints of Central Catholic. A nice catch by Ryan Haferly. The junior advances past the first down markers, so that's plenty of yards for the Saints.
Just the defenders were giving him the room, and he just stopped out there. Haferly got the catch and actually picked up about 3 or 4 more yards after the catch. So nice throw, nice catch between Hayes and Haferly to get the first down for Central.
1st and 10, ball's on the 33-yard line. Clock continues to tick. Minute 50 left to go. Slaughter gets the pass from Hayes. He advances to the 20-yard line and turning on the Jets like the Jets over across the street at Central Illinois Regional Airport. And he picks up about 6 yards on the carry.
Just that quick out. You know where it's going. It's going to Jake Slaughter. He's getting some good blocking to kind of seal that edge and gets down the field, picks up 6. 2nd and short. Saints have 2 timeouts with 1:20 to go. And we'll see if they can get into PBL territory and then burn one of those timeouts.
2nd and 4. Clock continues to tick. A pass from Hayes looking for his wide receiver, and he finds one of them. There's plenty of blocking. That's a first down and more, about the 50-yard line, midfield. Is that Jake Slaughter once again on the catch?
Yes, it is.
47-yard line. That's a Central Catholic first down.
Clock stops with the first down at 1:08. We'll see if they run one more play maybe.
And then do a timeout?
Yeah, they've got a timeout, but you don't want to wait too long to use those, but a 1st and 10 for Central.
Hayes back in the gun. 2 wide receivers near side, 2 far side. Hayes is back in the pocket getting chased out. He looks for one of his wide receivers. Does he make a catch?
What a great catch.
And a nice catch by Ryan Haferly at the 39-yard line. That's a first down, plus it stops the clock. 52 seconds left to go. That was a great play.
Pickup of 13, and he picked that one off the turf, the Bill Hunman Memorial Field turf. Nice play, keeps this drive going, stops the clock while they
reset the ball as Hayes is back in the pocket, looking deep again, finds Haferly, making a catch and going out of bounds to about the 27, 28-yard line. And now the Saints are cooking with gas.
Just clicking, it's Hayes to Haferly, another pickup. That's around 12, and it's just those quick outs, and another great catch, great hands by the junior, 6'4", 200-pound junior, has made a couple of circus catches on this drive, and now all of a sudden the Saints have their best field possession of the ball game.
41 seconds left to go in the second quarter, 1st and 10, ball's on the 29-yard line. Hayes getting signs from his offensive coordinator. 4 wide receivers far side. Hayes is going to take things himself. Advancing the 29 to the 25, now down to the 20. Pick up about 8 yards on the play, but the bad thing is the clock continues to tick, and head coach Kevin Brada is trying to call timeout, sprints down the sidelines like a 50-meter dash runner and calls timeout as the clock stops with 34 seconds left to go.
Absolutely a designed play call, quarterback draw. As Hayes, as you mentioned, a big boy, got 8 yards on first down. That puts him on the 20-yard line. So now in the red zone, kind of open up the playbook. We'll see if we see a Hayes to Haferly type connection here in the end zone. But now with 34 seconds on the clock and still a timeout in your back pocket, you've got a couple of downs to play with. Only need to get a couple of yards for that first down. So really opening up the playbook is what Central Catholic needs to do right here. Get on the scoreboard right before halftime, steal some momentum from PBL.
So if you're head coach Kevin Brott, what do you think? Do you run a couple of slants outside to stop, get a quick couple of yards and stop the clock? What do you do?
Well, I think they're going to try and disguise something, maybe play action with Slaughter, try and get a tight end to release, be wide open in the end zone, see if he gets really exotic here on second down and short.
And it looks like things are going to be exotic, and an interesting lineup.
5 wide receiver set.
5 wide receivers set, and they're all spread out across the field. Hayes is in the gun formation. And the zone defense comes from the Panthers.
And I'm sure Hayes is told if nothing's there, run it.
Hayes is back about the 30-yard line, getting chased out of the pocket. He throws it deep. Does he have Haferly? And it's bounced about the second lane of the track, I should say, deep into the end zone. And that's incomplete, way over Haferly, who stands at 6'4", so that's just way over his head.
Yeah, I had a little adrenaline flowing there and just kind of airmailed that one out of the back of the end zone all the way over on the track. So they're going to pull him from the game on this play and bring in and put Slaughter back there, I believe.
Yes, Slaughter's back in the pocket with 3rd and 2. 30 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Saints trail 12-0 against Paxton Buckley Loda. And it's going to be Slaughter, and he's going to get the first down and maybe a yard or two more.
Stop it, first down, so stop the clock with 23 seconds to go. Now you bring Hayes back on the field out of that Wildcat. So you still have a timeout, but the clock stops while they move the chains. And now PBL's trying to get players on and off the field.
And now the clock continues to roll. Hayes back in at quarterback, and he spikes things down as soon as he gets it. So the clock stops, and they don't burn the timeout. So 19 seconds left to go in the second quarter.
Sorry, with a timeout there, you can go across the middle because if you catch it down inside the 10, maybe the 5, you have that timeout, so you're not afraid to go right down the middle. So I think that's what they're trying to do here. But now it's second down after the spike, so it's 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 17-yard line. So, again, going to spread the field and leave it in the hands of Colin Hayes.
Colin Hayes is back in the gun. 2 wide receivers on the far side. One's in motion. Hayes is going to keep things himself. Looking deep. He finds one wide receiver getting out of bounds.
Great
making
catch.
the catch two-handed. About the 12-yard line is one of his wide receivers. Was it
24?
Number 24, Jake Slaughter, was in on the catch. A nice catch.
Not a huge gain, but moves the ball a little bit closer. About a gain of about 4. 3rd down now. 14 seconds to go. So you got to think we got to get some sort of points here. You can't let this clock run out.
3rd and 7. Saints in the door of scoring as Hayes throws it deep, but it's just incomplete. Trying to find his wide receiver, Bo Mays, and he just can't get it to him. And that's not what you want to do there.
Yeah, just kind of saw him open, maybe threw that a little bit sooner than he wanted to. Bo Mays, the son of former Central Catholic head coach Mike Mays, in there as a receiver. He was open in the flats, but Hayes kind of maybe threw that a little bit earlier than he wanted to. So now with 12 seconds and 4th down, you got to decide, are we going to try and go for the touchdown, the first down, or maybe try and kick a field goal? And I think they're going to try and go for 3 points.
They're going to try to go for 3 points. And deep to kick things away is Jalen Bischoff, Jaylyn Bischoff, Bischoff. He also plays soccer for the Saints, and he's going to try to kick things through the pylon.
30-yard field goal try.
The kick is up. It's end over end. Do we see a doink? No, it's
wide left.
No good. Wide left, and that is unfortunate for the Saints as they will head into the locker room here in just a minute, trailing 12-0 against Paxton Buckley Loda.
Just a couple of, wish they had another couple of 10 seconds on there and an extra play to try and throw it in the end zone one more time. Had to try that field goal, had to get on the board or try and get on the scoreboard. You didn't want to go in the locker room with a 0, so kind of had to do that. But obviously if they had their choice, they'd rather try and go to the end zone or maybe pick up that first down with that timeout.
And the biggest thing is, if I was head coach Kevin Broad, I would put a player back just in case. But Paxton Buckley Loda spikes things down and takes the knee. And that will end our second quarter. And it's a barn burner, even though the Saints are yet to score. That ends our second quarter of high school football here on WJBC. Week number 3, Paxton Buckley Loda leads the Saints of Central Catholic 12-0. By the way, high school football is sponsored by Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg, Gill Street Restaurant, ISU Office of Admissions, Bank of Pontiac, Heller Motors, Direct Travel, O'Brien Hyundai, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, Floor Coverings International, Heller Ford, and Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson. Eric, before we go to break, some first quick thoughts about the Saints and about the Panthers of Paxton Buckley-Loda.
PBL offensive line really dominated that first half, pushed Central Catholic back. A couple of hugely long drives that got in the end zone. Didn't get those extra points, so some points are still there to be had for Central Catholic if they can get something going. They did finally get their offense clicking on that final drive, just kind of ran out of time, so we'll see what kind of second half brings for both these teams, but Central has to figure out that PBL offensive line because they cannot be dominated like that in the second half or they're going to lose.
That's exactly right, and they're losing so far in the first half. 12-0 is your score. Again, that's Eric LePan. I'm Blake Haas. We'll be back here in a little bit from Bill Hub Memorial Field, but before we get back, we'll head to Studio A. Neil Doyle's got a lot of games he's following tonight across the Illini Prairie and Big 12 as well. So tons of games to get to, and Neil Doyle will have an update here in just a little bit after this short commercial break. You're listening to Week 3 of high school football on AM 1230 and 102.1 FM, WJBC and WJBC.com.
Steve Peterson, your local country financial representative, is proud to sponsor WJBC's Central Illinois High School Football Extravaganza. And he would like to extend best wishes and success to all the area teams, cheerleaders, band members, and their family members. Steve is a lifelong resident of Bloomington Normal, and he encourages everyone to support local high school students in both the classroom and on the field. A message from Steve Peterson, your local country financial representative.
Illinois State University is pleased to offer the McLean County Full Tuition Scholarship, awarded annually to students committed to giving back to our community. The scholarship is currently valued at $50,000, and non-winners receive $500 simply for applying. Take your first step to Illinois State and discover a different side of normal. Schedule your official campus visit to hear from admissions experts, tour the campus, and talk with academic departments. Learn more at illinoisstate.edu/McLean.
Hard work, confidence, and a love of the game. It's not only what makes you successful on the football field, it's what makes us a winning team at O'Brien Hyundai and Normal. Our goal is 100% satisfaction for our customers, and we do whatever it takes to achieve it. So come check out the unbeatable Hyundai lineup at O'Brien. We're talking Sonatas, Tucsons, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. Plus, we've got the Hyundai Elantra. It's the 2021 North American Car of the Year, and all Hyundais come with complimentary maintenance, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Go online now to O'BrienTeamHyundai.com, and with O'Brien Express Car Buying, you can buy your Hyundai 100% online. Plus, let's pump up the team spirit in Normal. Shop local, buy local, and keep our community driving when you purchase at O'Brien Hyundai, your hometown Hyundai dealer. We're #1 in customer loyalty for 11 years in a row. Come see us at O'Brien Hyundai in Normal or online at O'BrienTeamHyundai.com.
O'Brien's got it. Yeah, O'Brien's got it.
According to 2020 Brand Geese Customer Loyalty Engagement Index.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
High school football on AM 1230, FM 102.1, WJBC.
Well, we are in halftime mode here on WJBC. Welcome back inside Studio A. I'm Neil Doyle with you in week number 3 of high school football, and it's a low score, but a 12-point advantage for PBL as the Panthers lead it over Central Catholic 12-0 here after 2 quarters of play. PBL 2 possessions with the football and went down and scored twice. Central Catholic at the end of that first half, driving, tried to put some points up, but that field goal no good. So, again, our score at the half of our main game, PBL 12, Central Catholic 0. Let's go through some of the scores here tonight and some back and forth scoring in a game between Olympia and Monticello. It's been a fun one, keeping track of it here. And I believe, if I've got my most recent scoring update, looks like Olympia back on the board again. Yeah, a tweet from the Olympia Spartans Twitter account. They just scored after Monticello went down and scored. So the Spartans are up 14-13 in that game as it's nearing the end of the first half. A good one there in that one. And again, Olympia's home. I was making sure I knew who was home. The Spartans are home tonight. So Olympia, again, up in that one, 14-13. Bloomington, our last update for the Purple Raiders. They're on the road against Peoria Manual. They were up 7-0 is the latest score we have in that one. Update at halftime in Champaign. It's Normal West. The Wildcats up 6-0 over Champaign Centennial. So the Chargers, who were 2-0 to start their season, a tough one for Normal West, but they have a slim advantage, 6-0 in the first half of that one. If you haven't heard a Pioneers update, we've told you in our pregame and one other time tonight, but no game for U-High. They were supposed to be playing at Springfield Lanphier, but the Lions of Lanphier had to cancel that game because of COVID issues. So the Pioneers picking up a forfeit victory tonight. Some other games in the Heart of Illinois Conference. Hayworth is down 21-0 against Eureka. That one is, I believe, at halftime. Also at the half, all Turks of Tremont, they're up 36-0 over Leroy as that one is hit halftime as well. Our last update for Tri-Valley, they were up a touchdown 7-0 against Ridgeview. No score at the half, a low scorer between El Paso Gridley and GCMS. That one, again, scoreless at the half. We just told you about that Olympia update. The Spartans now leading 14-13 over Monticello. And we'll give you some updates as well once we find some scores. Pontiac hosting Rantoul tonight. That is on our sister station up in Livingston County, Classic Hits 98.9 WJEZ. Normally I'm pretty dependent. Mark Strauss calling that game. He'll probably give me a text here eventually, give us a halftime update from that one. And then another one we'll try to get a score of. Prairie Central is at St. Joseph Ogden tonight. We'll look for that one as well. A few other scores we can give you as we're in halftime mode. DMAC trailing at the half against the Marquette Crusaders. Marquette up 18-16 at the half. DMAC was up late in that first half, but now trailing 18-16 in that one. Fisher Bunnies all over Fieldcrest as the second quarter coming to a close. The Bunnies up 20-6. And a few other scores here for you. The Clinton Maroons are home tonight against Shelbyville, and that one, our latest update, knotted up at 7 apiece. And those are some of the other scores that we've seen for you tonight. We can give you a couple more. Lincoln Rail Splitters are down against the Jersey Panthers 14-8. And then Herscher, the Tigers, and Streeter are knotted up at 12 as that one also nearing the end of the first half. Those are some of the scores we have for you as we're in halftime. If you have scores, you can always give us a call, 829-2345. We've had a couple come in this evening. We always appreciate the help getting some of those scoring updates. You can also tweet us on Twitter, our Twitter handle @SportsWJBC. Major League Baseball, the Cardinals are starting a series tonight at home against the Cincinnati Reds. A big series for the Cards there, and the Reds up 1-0 in that contest. They're in the bottom of the third. White Sox returning home, and they're hosting the Red Sox. No score in that one, also in the third inning. And the Chicago Cubs were in action earlier this afternoon at Wrigley Field, but it was the return of Chris Bryant and the San Francisco Giants as they took that one 6-1. ISU volleyball competing in the Flyer Raider Invitational this weekend. Their first match earlier today against Central Michigan, but it was the Chippewas taking it in 4 sets. The Redbirds back in action out in Dayton, Ohio tomorrow. Plenty of college football tomorrow for the Illinois State Redbirds. They're on the road against FBS opponent Western Michigan. I just told you the Redbirds volleyball team playing Central Michigan. Redbird football team is in Kalamazoo. They're playing Western Michigan tomorrow. You can hear that game right here on WJBC with all of the pregame coverage starting at 3 o'clock. Titans of Illinois Wesleyan, after their Week 1 loss, they have a week off here. They'll be back in action next week. And the Fighting Illini football team, they're on the road trying to bounce back from a tough loss at home as well last week against the University of Texas San Antonio. So the Illini on the road, an early kick on the road against Virginia. Those are some of the scores. As again, we're in halftime here in our main game as PBL leads it 12-0 over Central Catholic, a battle of two teams unbeaten to start the season. And well, let's head back out to Bill Hunman Memorial Field and get some updates, maybe a few stats as well, and just some other thoughts from both Blake and Eric as, again, we're in halftime. Guys, low scoring for the most part, but, PBL pretty decisive in their few possessions they had. Times they had the ball, they scored, so it was effective for them.
Well, that's exactly right, and that was led by a good offensive and defensive line. Again, Eric LePain and Blake Haas here at Bill Hunman Memorial Field, where Paxton Buckley Little leads Central Catholic 12-0. And Eric, it just seemed like Paxton Buckley Little is just playing bully ball with the big guys they have offensively and defensively on the line.
Well, if you come into this ball game and their head coach, Josh Pritchard, just decided we're going to keep it on the ground, we're going to control the clock. We're just going to have two possessions, but the first one's going to go 16 plays. Second one's going to go 14 plays, and we're going to score on both and eat up probably 75% of the clock in the first half. That's exactly what they did. And the offensive line of PBL really dominated the defensive line for Central Catholic. They were able to figure it out a few times, but they just were dominant. And on those two drives, Central finally got clicking on the offensive end as Colin Hayes really started to kind of warm up and find some receivers, mostly Haferly in that final drive, but it stalled out around the 20-yard line, and they could not get in the end zone, tried that field goal. But it's been a lot of running back by committee by PBL leading the way for the Panthers as Tyler Smith has 11 carries, 80 yards. One of those touchdowns of 7 yards, the other coming from Charlie Pound, who kind of went in there when they needed that 4th and short, and they just did a wildcat with him, and he got the first down. So they have spread the ball around, 5 running backs touching it for PBL in the backfield. So they're not afraid to mix it up, but they're not very deep. If you look at the sideline, they don't have as many substitutions as Central Catholic does. So we'll see if Saints can maybe wear this PBL team down in the second half.
And not very deep for running backs for the Saints of Central Catholic either, but they do have one good running back, and that's Jake Slaughter. He had 20 yards on 5 carries and 4 receptions for 27 yards there in the first half. And we talked about earlier, Jake Slaughter didn't really see the ball too much, but I think offensively, second half here, you're going to have to really start relying on Slaughter.
Yeah, I think Coach Kevin Brock wanted to stay away from just giving him the ball 25 times in this game and really moving him around because he can catch the ball and did have a lot of catches, had as many catches he did rushing attempts. But I think you'll see a lot of Jake Slaughter here in the second half, and it's tough because that's a young man that plays both ways, defense and offense, so you just can't wear somebody out because you need him in the fourth quarter. But I think we'll see a lot more Jake Slaughter in the second half.
We'll see a lot more football here in the second half. We're just moments away from kickoff, and it should be a good second half. Paxton Buckley Loda leads the Saints of Central Catholic 12-0. That's it from us here at halftime. We'll be back with the third quarter of week number 3 of high school football right after this. You're listening to High School Football on AM 1230, 102.1 FM, and WJBC.com.
Illinois State University is pleased to offer the McLean County Full Tuition Scholarship, awarded annually to students committed to giving back to our community. The scholarship is currently valued at $50,000, and non-winners receive $500 simply for applying. Take your first step to Illinois State and discover a different side of normal. Schedule your official campus visit to hear from admissions experts, tour the campus, and talk with academic departments. Learn more at illinoisstate.edu/McLean.
Your country financial representative, Melissa Eisenberg, is proud to sponsor coverage of all local high school and collegiate athletics. Melissa wishes all local athletes the best of luck this coming year, and she knows that you'll perform with tremendous poise and confidence. After all, that's what sports are all about. When they go going gets tough, the tough get going. You make our community proud. A message from Melissa Eisenberg, your Country Financial representative. Contact Melissa at 452-9644.
See Business Minute, 60 seconds to help you find great local deals and quality services from businesses in the area.
Third Sunday Market is back for the 2021 season at the Interstate Center in Bloomington, featuring 450 of the Midwest's finest antiques, collectibles, crafts, and garden vendors inside and out. For more info, follow Third Sunday Market on Facebook.
What's better than free Giordano's pizza?
During September, join the Giordano's G Club for your chance to win big. Save $5 on your first order instantly. Plus, you're entered to win one of 5 $100 Giordano's gift cards. Giordano's on Veterans Parkway in Bloomington.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your local business. Reach out to your community. You can be a part of the WJBC Business Minute, too. Call 829-1221 today.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon. Cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code OCEAN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code OCEAN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OCEAN.
The voice for high school sports. AM 1230 WJBC and WJBC.com.
Well, that's going to do it for our halftime coverage. We'll have other updates on scores around the area and plenty more second half, and then we'll have all the post game till 10 o'clock tonight here on WJBC. Let's get you back out there for the second half as PBL leads it 12-0 over Central Catholic. Send it back out to Blake and Eric. Guys, take it away.
It's going to be an interesting third quarter. Eric LePan. It's going to be really interesting. 12-0. What do you see for Paxton Buckley Loda starting out offensively here?
Well, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. It's been working, and they're going to try and just run this ball. Again, keep this game as short as they can be, especially with a 12-0 lead. Saints need to just load the box, force them to throw the football, see if they can get a 3 and out, because Central really needs to get some points early in the third quarter, get back in this ball game. But it is going to be dictated by the offensive line of PBL whether Central can do that or not.
So the Saints will kick things away, and the Panthers are deep to receive. Panthers leading 12-0, and the kick is off, and it's going to go right into the grippers of number 22, Dalton Jones, and he picks up 2 or 3 yards on the return. Not much, but here comes that tough offensive line for the Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda.
Yeah, they're not going to change what they've been doing in this one, and nice tackle that time by Central Catholic's Cole Phillips on the special teams on a really hardly any return by PBL. So here they are, 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. See if the Saints kind of force them to throw the football.
In the first half, we saw 5 different running backs as Hayes is back in the gun. 1 running back is behind him, and he's going to move to his right just a little bit. Hayes is going to stick his hands out, hand things off to his running back, but Saints throw him up, but a flag comes in late, and trying to throw down the running back for the Panthers is Tyler Smith, the ball carrier, but a flag is thrown.
No gain, flag on the play. Probably a hold as quickly as that was thrown.
That was my face mask.
Oh.
So a face mask against Central Catholic, and that's not the way you want to start things off here for the Saints.
No, you get a stop on 1st down, and just like the first half, Saints had a stop, which would have caused them to get off the field and caused PBL to punt the ball, but it was another face mask that kept that drive going, the opening drive by PBL, which led to the first score of this ball game.
Good memory as the ball advances to about the 41-yard line. 1st and 5 now for Paxton Buckley Loda. Week 3 of high school football sponsored by Country Financial representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, and Country Financial representative Melissa Eisenberg. Hayes is back in the shotgun, hands things off once again to his favorite running back, and that's Smith. And he's going to be thrown down about the 40-yard line.
Short gain. Good job by the Saints linebackers just filling those holes and limiting that to a short gain. So second down, and we'll say a long 3 for PBL.
If you're just tuning in to the third quarter, Bill Hudman Memorial Field, named in 2004. Eric Lepan's voice you just heard on Blake Haas. On the campus of Central Catholic as a plane lands in the far distance, just right away from Central Illinois Regional Airport, just right down the road. As the Paxton Buckley Loda offense comes back, as Hayes is standing about the 36-yard line. He's going to hand things off to Smith once again, following blockers. He's got a big 250-pound blocker in front of him, and he gets a first down and more at about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, just good blocking that time. Again, it's just the offensive line of PBL, big number 78, big number 76 out there, and they're just moving some people around. 78, Kendall Swanson, 6'1", 280, 76, Brandon Knight, 6'3", 215. There's just some big boys that they are running behind, and that's why Tyler Smith having a big night.
And I think you summed it up perfectly there. You said big linemen. Big boys is what they are, and that's really tough for a high school kid that weighs about $190. But nonetheless, 10-14 left to go. Clock continues to roll in the third quarter. Saints trail PBL 12-0.
Smith closing in on 100 yards for PBL in this one.
And Smith gets the handoff. He may eclipse 100 yards on this scamper, and he advances to about the 37, 38-yard line and carrying a bunch of guys on his back. And he falls down by about the 37-yard line. So on that play, does he eclipse 100 yards?
Yeah, he needed just 6, and looks like he got 7, so over 100 yards with a lot of football left. So Saints need to figure out how to stop number 33, Tyler Smith.
And the question is how do you stop the offensive line first to get to Tyler Smith? Because Smith just follows that wall of blockers, and there's a lot of beef up there for those guys.
Yeah, and he does follow his blockers. He does a good job just kind of riding right behind that offensive line and knowing when to dart out and get out from behind him and breaking the free.
$5 here says it goes right back to Smith for the handoff. We'll see. Hayes is back in the shotgun. A handoff to Smith. I'll take $5 on the play. Smith carrying it to about the 30, and he falls to about the 28-yard line.
Yeah, play was going right. Saw the hole close. Bounces out. Gets outside to his left. Picks up another first down. So good vision by the young man of being able to read the play in front of him and recognize his blocking and turn what could have been a loss into a big gainer. That's why you have the senior out there running the football.
If you're Josh Pritchard, the head coach for Paxton Buckley Loda, why throw the football if you can just keep doing the same play and getting yards on the play?
That's what I was talking about. The Saints really need to come out, load the box, and force PBL to throw the football. They're not going to throw it unless you make them, and they're going to try and keep it on the ground because it has worked all night long.
And they're going to pack it in once again, as you'll see Smith right next to Hayes, and I guarantee we'll see a running play. A handoff to Smith. It's the same play, but just going opposite each time. Smith gains a couple of yards on the play, but why do anything different, and how do you stop this if you're head coach Kevin Brock?
Well, you got to load the box. You got to fill all those holes and force them to know that you're not going to let anybody get outside or up the middle. You're just going to put all 10 men there. They have yet to do that. They're putting 7 or 8 guys on the line, but PBL is being able to handle that. Now, it's a good stop on first down for Central Catholic there. Just a 1-yard gain brings up second down and 9. But I think we all know, everybody in this football stadium knows what's coming, and Central needs to get it stopped, force them into a third down and long, and get them away from just having to run the ball up the middle.
And everybody knows what's coming because the linemen were standing down, and there's a handoff, fake handoff to Smith. Hayes is chased out of the pocket. He tries to find a wide receiver. He does, but a flag is thrown in the air, and tackled like a pancake on a Sunday morning breakfast on the far side is the number 21 Smith, and he gets tackled on the far side, and that's a gain of about 14 yards, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, it looks like it might be interference on Central Catholic. We'll see what the call is. Maybe PBL takes the result of the play, which is close to a first down. Officials talking it over. Could be offensive pass interference.
I did see a little bit of a shove off. The Panthers wide receiver shoved off a little bit, and it's going to go against the Saints and another costly penalty.
Just kind of holding the receiver out there in the flats from having him get outside, and ball was put on his hands, and we'll see if they mark it off from the line of scrimmage or from the end of this play.
So
Bruns, it looks like they're going to accept the penalty.
So Bruns, the quarterback for Paxton Buckley Loda, finds his wide receiver, but there was a flag on the play. It'll move the chains. 7:30 left to go in the third quarter. Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 12-0.
I think they took the result of the play, which is a first down. The official did not say that they declined it, but that's what happened, and now they have it 1st and 10 on Central's 20-yard line.
Bruns hands things off to Smith, and he gets thrown down about the 20-yard line. So that play didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to, as they do that same running play every time.
Just trying to cut back that time, and kind of the dirt and the turf came out from underneath them. So another good stop on first down by Central Catholic. It's second down, which they have had trouble on this opening drive here in the third quarter. And again, the clock eater is PBL. They are just taking the clock with them as they march down the field.
Clock continues to roll. 6:47 left to go. Bruns is back in the gun formation. One wide receiver on the near side. A handoff to Smith, and he finds a couple of blockers. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards on the play. And, you know, if I'm the head coach for Paxton Buckley Loda, I'm going to keep going to the same play, although it's third down.
Well, the old saying, you dance with the one you brought, and they just keep going to it. Nice tackle in the hole by Tyler Sears, who's back this week, making that a short game. So that young man got in there. One of the seniors honored before this game. So again, this is what the Saints needed to do, force a third down and long, as we've seen PBL has really no kicking game. So this is definitely 4-down territory. Here's where you need to make it hurt on third down.
3rd and 8, a huge play here for Bruns, the quarterback, and movement, and that's against Paxton Buckley Loda, and that's going to be costly.
So it helps the Saints even more, makes it 3rd down and 12. See if PBL changes their play call. Now with a lot longer to go, they need to get down to around the 11-yard line to pick up the first down.
And you saw frustration there by the Panthers on the far side. One of the wide receivers took his palms and smacked it on his helmets out of frustration. And that was number 10, Aiden Johnson. But nonetheless, it's 3rd and 13. Bruns going to keep things himself, throwing an option to the far side. Smith gets swallowed up, and that's going to start 4th down and about 8 yards to go. A nice stop by the Central Catholic Saints.
Nice Jake Slaughter open field tackle. If he doesn't make that, that could be a big gainer close to a first down, but he gets the tackle right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1, brings up 4th down and long. So that's exactly what the Saints need. They need to get the stop now and get the ball back and try and get in the end zone, get on the scoreboard.
So that's Eric Lepan's voice you just heard. I'm Blake Haas here at Bill Hudman Memorial Field on Central Catholic's campus. A huge 4th and 12 for Paxton Buckley Loda, who leads the Saints of Central Catholic 12-0 in the third quarter.
Another long drive for PBL at play number 10.
Runs back in the pocket. He's going to throw things deep. Does he have his wide receiver? Overthrown. A turnover and downs. The Saints defense prevails. A huge turnover and downs for Paxton Buckley Loda.
Bruns had Aiden Johnson down there, but Johnson's looking over his left shoulder when he should have been looking over his right shoulder, and the ball was thrown over him, and that's a good job by the Saints defense to bend but don't break. Now they need to get that offense clicking like they did right before halftime.
The defense is running to the sideline saying, come on, offense, we did our job, now let's see you do your job, as the Saints offense will pick things up at about the 20-yard line with 4:51 left to go, and Saints really need to score here. They have the momentum growing. They need to score.
And we'll see if Colin Hayes throws the ball like he did right before halftime.
Hayes hands things off to Slaughter, is racing to the sidelines. He follows a couple of blockers, and he gets thrown down by about the 27-yard line. I think the goal here is hand things to Slaughter and see what he can do.
Well, they're definitely going to get a heavy diet of Jake Slaughter, our PBL, in the second half. But they know that as well, and they got outside to limit that to just a 3-yard gain on first down.
Jake Slaughter's going to get a heavy diet of the football this evening here in this third quarter, like you got those Flinger pizza rolls there during halftime.
I tell you, Hud Venerable set us up right. The AD at Central Catholic got us some Flingers pizza up here, and it was really good.
It sounds good, but if you're going to get something to eat after the game, make sure you visit Gill Street, one of our sponsors of high school football here in week number 3. So it's going to be a pass, and it's going to go to Jake Slaughter to about the 30-yard line, trying to break free, but a flag is thrown, and that is a face mask. You can tell from up here in the press box.
And they are playing so far off the ball, especially when they split Slaughter wide out. He has all kinds of room to get up to speed. A high tackle that time up by his face mask. We'll see if this is the 15-yard version, but that was a short gainer out across the 30. See if they tack on 15 more.
The officials are discussing it about the 30-yard line. 3 of them standing about the 30-yard line. 1 official standing on the near side. 3 are on the far side.
They have been huddling up quite a bit tonight to get the call. Maybe they're making their reservation after the game.
Maybe
but
Gill Street.
They have been thinking about these calls quite a bit. And it is a face mask against Central Catholic.
And that's going to be Consley as well. You hear the oohs and ahs from the fans that packed the stadium here at Bill Hug Memorial Field. The first time fans have been here since 2019.
Kevin Brock is his head coach. One of his assistants is trying to hold him back. He wants to understand, but when you think about it, Jake Slaughter's trying to stiff arm, and as you see at other levels of football, illegal hands to the face is the same thing as face mask, and I think that's what Slaughter did. Looked like it was going to go against the defense. It goes against the offense, negates a good gain, so it brings up second down, and now we'll say about 7 for Central Catholic. So Kevin Brock just can't believe his team's got 3 face masks in this ball game.
The officials have a conversation with Kevin Broad, who hangs his head down and then puts his headset back on. I don't think he liked the explanation, but nonetheless, Saints offense is back on the field at 2nd and 7. Ball's in the 25. 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 12-0.
Well, you got to realize it's only second down. You got to remember you got a couple of plays to call, so you got to get your head in the ball game. And that's what they're going to do here. Another 3 wide receiver set with Slaughter in the backfield. Actually, 4 wide receivers.
4 wide receivers as Hayes throws things to one of his wide receivers. That's Hayfully, who made a couple of nice catches earlier and gets past 1 defender and advances to about the 35-yard line. So that'll be a first down and more for the Saints, plus you get out of bounds.
That's a play that has worked tonight. As I said, PBL is playing 5 yards off the football, and they're just doing these quick outs to Slaughter and Haferly, who are doing a good job of meeting the defender and getting by them, getting those extra yards. So 1st and 10, Central Catholic, as the clock stops with 3:34. Got to keep this drive going.
It helps that Haferly is 6'4" and Hayes is 6'6", the quarterback for Central Catholic. As he looks to the sideline for some signs, gets back in the gun formation. 3 wide receivers far side, 1 near side. Hayes has plenty of time. He escapes the pocket, could be swallowed up. He advances and gets out of one defender. Hayfully catches it to the 40, 35-30. 1 defender to beat and drugged down at the 20-yard line. And Hayes is coming alive for this offense of Central Catholic.
Just a broken play. Colin Hayes had to scramble, stepped up in the pocket. Haferly read it, took off. The defender was caught flat-footed. He hit him in stride down the sideline. Nice play. And that's a quarterback and a receiver that are on the same page.
That's a lot of summertime throwing the football around and getting used to running routes for Haferly and the sophomore quarterback Hayes, who looks for signs to the sideline. 4 wide receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Saints knocking on the door of scoring the first time tonight. Hayes going to keep things himself, follows blockers, and advances for a first down and more, dragging defenders by his feet and just taking things his whole self, and a flag could be thrown. Head coach Kevin Brott wants one, and he's going to give the official an outful.
He's going to get an unsportsmanlike on him, but his quarterback driven about 10 yards back before they finally blew the whistle. That could have easily been a personal foul. No flag, but Colin Hayes just powers his way down the 11-yard line. So another first down for Central Catholic. And again, he's a big boy. Got to bring your lunch to bring him down.
I'm surprised Coach Kevin Brott did not get a flag there. He was just running up and down that sideline, and he wanted a piece of the official.
He wanted that flag, and he didn't get it. But nevertheless, again, you got to keep your wits. It's now 1st and 10, ball on the 11-yard line. So here's your best chance of the night to get in the end zone.
2 minutes and a half left to go in the third quarter. Paxton Buckley Loda leads Central Catholic 12-0. It could
2
be
men
a
in
flag.
motion, no flag.
Brott is calling timeout. Does he get one?
No flag, and 2 men went in motion, and that is a miss by the officials. A break goes Central Catholic's way. Kevin Brock notices it, calls the timeout right away.
He was running up and down that sideline. Put him on the track and see if he's got some eligibility. Nonetheless, he gets the timeout. We're going to keep things here because the Saints are about to score. After they score or possibly don't score, we'll get an update on games around the area from Neil Doyle. But we would just want to say thank you to our sponsors for allowing us to be here. And that's Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. Eric, what play do we go to here?
Well, I'm not sure what he's going to call here, but I bet you they go back to that Colin Hayes quarterback draw before this drive is out, especially if they get down near the 5-yard line. That has worked well. He is a big boy to bring down, and PBL is not reading that play, and it's hard for them to read it when you have a running back like Slaughter in the backfield. You got to think about him, but Hayes can easily take that about 5 yards without even being touched.
The bad thing is when you run a fast offense, those big double quarter pounders up front get tired. There's a handoff to Slaughter, a fake handoff, I should say, but a catch by one of the running backs for Central Catholic, and a nice catch by number 32, Nick Martis, and he makes the catch, and that makes it now 2nd and 4. Ball's on about the 4-yard line.
Nice play call, kind of had the misdirection. Everybody's going towards Slaughter, and Martis comes out of the backfield and does the one-handed catch. So now here it is, 2nd down. The ball's on the 5-yard line. See if they do something, kind of a run-pass option for Colin Hayes.
Hayes is back in the gun, 2nd and 4. Ball's on the 5-yard line. A fake handoff to Slaughter. Actually is going to hand things off to him, and he gets maybe a yard or 2 on the carry.
Yeah, PBL recognizing that and doing a good job of getting in the backfield. Saints can still get a 1st down around the 2-yard line. The ball's on the 5. So this is definitely 4-down territory, trailing 12-0. We'll see what Central Catholic does here.
It looks like it's going to be the Wildcat with Jake Slaughter back in the gun. A lot of running backs in the game for the Saints of Central Catholic.
Next to him is Ian Whitaker. See who gets this football.
Whitaker gets it. He's going to keep things himself. Does he have the 1st down? Official is going to say no, he does not, but he does gain a yard. So that sets up, should be 4th down.
4th and about 3. Ball's on the 4. At around the 1, they can get a 1st down. So we'll see what it's very much like right before halftime. You got to have a play that does something, whether you go to the end zone or get that 1st down. You got to make something happen here.
And the Saints, last time they were in this position, they decided to go for 3 points, and they don't this time as they bring Hayes onto the field.
They need a touchdown here.
And this is a huge game, or a huge play right here for Hayes, the quarterback. He gets it in the gun. He's going to get out of the pocket. He's looking for someone, throws it deep. Does he have a wide receiver?
Yes.
Touchdown. Touchdown, Central Catholic. Jake Slaughter catches it deep into the end zone, and the Saints are on the board.
Everything goes to the right. Hayes turns back. Slaughter has one-on-one on the far left side, puts it right on his hands for the 5-yard touchdown pass, 4-yard touchdown pass. Great throw by Colin Hayes to Jake Slaughter.
But an even better catch by Jake Slaughter, looking over his shoulder like a baseball player trying to rob a home run. And he makes that catch deep into the far side of the end zone. And the Saints are back in this ball game.
Yeah, the defender never looked back for the ball. It went right over his head. And a nice catch by Slaughter. And the extra point is good. So it's 12-7 now.
Now we have ourselves an old-fashioned barn burner. 12-7, 35 seconds left to go here in the 4th quarter. Let's head back to Studio A with Neil Dole. He's got updates from games around the area. Neil?
Well, fun one out there at Bill Hundman Memorial Field. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Central Catholic needed that score, and they get it. A big play. Their 2 playmakers on offense, Hayes to Slaughter. And we've got a game there in the second half over at Central Catholic High School. Let's run down some of the scores. Purple Raiders of Bloomington, they've started the second half, a low scorer at Peoria Manual, but the Purple Raiders leading the Rams 7-0. Normal Community still up 35-0 in the second half of that game against Peoria Richwoods. Wildcats of Normal West are on the board. They're up 14-0, 2 scores over Champaign Centennial. So the Wildcats trying to pick up a big win on the road. Eureka Hornets 21-0. They lead it over Hayworth. Leroy on the board, but it's still all Tremont in that Heart of Illinois Conference game. It's the Turks 36-6 leading the Panthers. Tri-Valley Ridgeview, Vikings are up 7-0. That's our last update. Second half underway after no scoring done in the first half between El Paso Gridley and GCMS. Monticello got on the board late in the first half after the Spartans and Sages were trading touchdowns. It's Monticello up 27-14. That second half just about to get underway. And in the second half as well, just getting underway, it's Prairie Central up a score over St. Joseph Ogden. They lead it 20-14. Quick look at baseball scores. It is the Cardinals and Reds tied up at 2. They're in the top of the fifth inning. They're about to head to the fifth, and the White Sox up 3-0 over the Red Sox as that one is in the bottom of the fourth. You can tweet us scores, our Twitter handle at SportsWJBC. Also, you can give us a call. We've appreciated some of the calls tonight. 309-829-2345 if you want to give us a scoring update if you're out and about for Friday Night Lights. Let's get you back out to Central Catholic High School. We've got a game on our hands here so far. PBL up 12-7 over the Saints. Let's head back out to Blake Haas and Eric LePan.
And there's a reason why this is the game of the week. 12-7 is the score as Paxton Buckley Loda sets up offense on the 37-yard line. There was some time added to the clock, so now about 45 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Eric, this has been a good one.
Yeah, this is starting to heat up, and PBL, same game plan, keeping it on the ground, and they've got a nice run on first down by who else but Tyler Smith, picking up the first down, gaining about 11. But a nice drive, exactly when the Saints needed it. They got 8 plays, 79 yards, 4-yard pass play. Colin Hayes to slaughter to cap off the touchdown.
We saw in the first half a rotation of 5 different running backs, but here in the second half, it's been pretty much Smith carrying the load for PBL as they set up a first down. Ball is now on the 48-yard line. So first and 10, 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. This may be the last play of the quarter.
Yeah, Smith over 120 yards now. I have him for 15 carries, 121 yards as he had 12 on that play. It looks like PBL is going to just let the quarter end, but I agree. You're going to keep the ball in the hands of your senior running back in a pivotal game early in the season right now on the road.
So Saints have held PBL scoreless in the third quarter. That is the end of the third quarter. Saints the only people to score here in the third quarter, and it's a good game. You're going to want to stick around for this fourth quarter because it's going to be a slobber knocker. 12-7 is the score as Paxton Buckley Loda leads the Saints of Central Catholic. We'll be back with more fourth quarter action right after this on AM 1230 and 102.1 FM WJBC and WJBC.com.
It's the perfect time to plan for winter and start thinking about 2022. Let the Apple Vacation experts at Direct Travel help you plan today. Right now, plan your dream vacation with Apple Vacation's Winter Event Celebration. If a warm weather winter vacation is a part of your planning, enjoy savings today. All Apple Vacations include round-trip air, transfers, all meals, drinks, taxes, and more, all in the sun with breathtaking beaches. Whether it's Huatuco, Ixtapa, or the Dominican Republic, an all-inclusive 7-night vacation package starts at just $13.99. Don't worry about securing the best prices. Direct Travel will beat any advertised rate on vacation packages. Book in confidence with Direct Travel. For the right advice and best price, call an Apple expert at Direct Travel today, 662-0455. Stop by their office at 2415 East Washington in Bloomington or visit them online at directtravelci.com. Direct Travel is Central Illinois' Apple Vacation Authority.
Hot, hot, hot. High school football on AM 1230, FM 102.1, WJBC.
And welcome into the fourth quarter of high school football here on AM 1230 WJBC. A handoff to Smith. He finds room and gets thrown down by Jake Slaughter, the other running back for the Saints of Central Catholic. But Paxton Buckley-Loda gets a first down to crack things open. Eric LePan's alongside me. I'm Blake Haas. And Eric, this is going to be a good fourth quarter.
Well, and here's where you got to stop him. You can't let PBL get any more points. At least hold him from getting in the end zone right here. In a open field missed tackle by Isaac Whitaker, kind of shot the gap that time trying to bring Tyler Smith down, but slowed him up enough for Slaughter to get in there for the short gain, but that could have gone for some big yards on first down.
Both teams tied for first place in the Illini Prairie Conference alongside Rantoul, who's on our sister station, Classic Hits 98.9 WJEZ, and the Sages of Monticello, who trail of the Spartans of Olympia. Smith gets the handoff, gets a first down, but gets tackled by his ankles about the 41-yard line. So that it's not enough for a first down. Third and about 1.
Yeah, they're going to say his knee was down before the first down, so it's going to be third and very short. But, yeah, again, it is going to be a heavy diet of the senior running back for PBL, Tyler Smith, here in this fourth quarter. PBL knows what they have to do to win this football game, and they're going to stay with it.
This offensive line for PBL looks kind of gashed as they stand in the huddle about the 49-yard line. And they walk to the line, and those boys look tired.
Well, and they've been on the field quite a bit. We talked about the drives. They've had 3 drives of over 10 plays, so they have been moving the football.
Bruns hands things off to
Whistle.
Jacob Gronsky, but a whistle has been thrown. And the head coach for the Panthers, that's Josh Pritchard, comes out about halfway to the field.
Well, I think Central Catholic called a timeout before the snap of that football, so no play. And now I believe that's just one timeout left for Central the rest of the ball game. He signaled, or actually, yeah, he did signal towards PBL. So timeout PBL. So right before the snap of the football on a third and short, your head coach calls a timeout. Not sure what that was about.
No, not for sure either. I would just pack it in and head it off to Smith and get the first down. Nonetheless, there is 10:20 left to go in the fourth quarter, and Paxton Buckley-Loda leads Central Catholic 12-7. So on a play like this, 3rd and 1, you have to get the first down to keep the clock rolling and to continue on the yardage. Do you box things in if you're the Saints?
Yeah, but you don't want to be baited into maybe just a short pass that turns into a touchdown. But this is definitely 4-down territory. Saints need a tackle for loss, really, to push PBL back. But yeah, they could run that wildcat, which they've run, and it looks like Bruns is not coming on the field. Looks like they're going to put one of their big guys back there, and they've done this a couple of times in this one. Looks like number 10, Aiden Johnson, might get this snap.
And it's going to be a handoff to Snelling instead. He gets the first down, bully balls his way into about the 37-yard line. That's a first down and more. Saints were signaling there was a little bit of a fumble, but it looks like the Panthers will pounce on top of it.
They used Snelling on that opening drive of the ball game inside the 10 when they had it 4th and short. He comes in, and he's hard to bring down at 6'2", 225. Just takes that direct snap and got way more than he needed, about 3 yards. And it's 1st and 10 PBL. So Central Catholic, again, needs to dig in and try and get a stop here.
The thing is, there's not very many players on the sidelines for PBL. There's only 472 kids in the school, but they rotate the running backs in wildcat formation just over and over and over, and that's just hard to beat.
We talked about turnovers. We haven't seen a turnover in this game.
But you almost saw one there.
Yeah, the ball was on the turf.
Squirts out of his hand like a bar of soap in the shower, and it lands about the 45-yard line, and Panthers pounce on top of it.
I was just thinking this game could turn on a dime with a turnover, and one of the miscues from quarterback to running back that time, and that's exactly what the Saints needed, a 4 or 5 yard loss. So now 2nd down and very long for PBL, but the clock continues to run, and the clock is the enemy of the Saints right now.
I didn't know if you're rolling your crystal ball in front of you, seeing a turnover coming your way, or what?
You get that vibe after 26 years of doing this. Sometimes you get that spidey sense, I guess.
26 years in the broadcast booth. And it's great to have you along, Eric LePan. I'm Blake Haas, and it's 2nd and 17. Bruns is going to hand things off to Smith, finding some holes, and he advances about the about the 39-yard line, so a gain of maybe 6 yards on the play. And there's 8:50 left to go. The clock just continues to roll here at Bill Hubner Memorial Field.
6 yards, but you're still not back to the original line of scrimmage. So now 3rd and 11. Again, 4-down territory for PBL. So, again, they do not look like they want to throw the football at all in this second half. They're going to force them to try and get something going. So right now, you really got to fire up that defensive line, get those linebackers to fill some holes, and get a tackle for loss.
Saints defense waving their hands up and down to get the crowd amped up. They're on their feet. It's a huge play, 3rd and 12. Bruns is being chased, throwing it up, and he gets Smith about the 40-yard line. He finds some blockers, but it's not enough for a first down, and he really escaped getting sacked deep there.
They call the screen pass, exactly what you want to call when a team blitzes. Had 3 blue shirts in the backfield, but the receiver slipped down as he tried to cut back just across the 35. So now ball on the 34. PBL needs to get to the 28. So it's 4th and 6. Exactly what Central had on the first drive of the second half. They have it right here. So they need this stop to get back in this ball game, get down and try and take the lead.
And Eric, we're watching a game of chess and not checkers. It's a huge play. What happens here? 4th and 7. This could be the play of the game. Bruns is back in the shotgun formation. 1 wide receiver near side and 1 far side. Clock continues to roll. A timeout has been called. They want to discuss things over.
PBL using their timeouts now. So they're down to 1, having called 2 in the last about 3 or 4 plays. So their head coach, Josh Pritchard, really he knows, like you said, this is a key play call here. He knows he's got to get a first down to continue this drive, because now all of a sudden the momentum, if Saints can get a stop, the momentum switches to Central Catholic.
And head coach Pritchard is taking his chips and pushing it into the middle, calling a timeout there and saying, I'm all in on this play. And this is really a big play of the game. I mean, it could be the play of the game.
Well, and don't be surprised if he runs another screen.
Right.
And Central brings the house, because that could go for 6 points. But again, you mentioned the chess match. A couple of coaches, the defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, going against each other right here. It's not an easy one. 4th down and a long 6 for PBL. We'll see who wins out here, but this is the play of the game so far.
4th and 7. We'll see who gets the play here, as Saints fans are excited. They're on their feet. Bruns is back in the pocket. He's going to throw things deep. Does he have it? And it is incomplete, just barely out of the grippers of a wide receiver. That is incomplete, and boy, that could have been a heartbreaker for the Saints, but it looked like it was number 21, Jacob Gronsky, deep to receive. He slides out.
Well, he lost his footing around the 10-yard line. He was wide open. It was a great play call. Saints bid on the play action. They had a man at around the 5-yard line. Bruns put it right there. The receiver fell down. I was afraid we might see a late flag, but it was incidental contact. The receiver fell down. The break goes for Central Catholic. So now with 7:21 and 2 timeouts, the Saints have all the momentum, and the ball's in their court.
And this game is making out to all the headlines, and a handoff to one of the running backs, but a flag has been thrown. And not quite for sure what the flag is on.
Might be a motion penalty on Central Catholic. It was thrown pretty early on that sweep on 1st down. So that might push them back 5 yards.
On the sweep, Haefele was the carrier. And that's going to go against the Saints.
False start. Offensive lineman a little bit too excited about getting this one going. So push them back 5 yards. Should have been a dead ball penalty. Ball was on the 35, so push them back to the 30, so 1st and 15.
Looks like the official's actually going to mark it on the 29. But the thing is when you're playing a team like Paxton Buckley Loda, they're ranked 10th in the state. They're 2-0, looking to go 3-0. And it's a close ball game. Some nerves start to set in here late.
Yeah, and this is right now the momentum is on the Saints offense. They've been able to move the ball the last 2 or 3 drives, and they need to get their sophomore quarterback going again. As
he's trying to get him go offside. As Hayes just keeps trying to wave his hands back and forth to try to get the Panthers offsides. He keeps things himself, throws it far side, finds Haefele, but right between his grippers, and that's incomplete. Haefele you got to make that catch.
Yeah, he's thinking downfield, maybe turned his head a little bit too soon. That's the play that has worked throughout this ball game. Just a quick out to Haferly, but that time he kind of turned upfield before he had the football. Got to secure that football, but it's still only second down, so 2nd and 15. Saints need to keep this drive going. Clock stops with the incomplete pass.
So Hayes is back in the gun. 4 wide receivers far side, all lined up right by each other, trying to get PBL to go offsides. PBL is playing a little zone safety here. Hayes looking for signs from his coaches. He looks back once again. One more time. He keeps things himself, a quarterback keeper, but just nothing there. It runs into a wall of just 300 pounds of just pure man there on the
defensive line. A lot of white
line.
jerseys, and number 58 leading the way for PBL, and Bo Snyder, senior, 6 foot 255, read that play and stopped Hayes right at the line of scrimmage, actually a 2-yard loss. So now 3rd down and 17 big yards for Central Catholic.
And a play like this, do you give it to Slaughter to try to make something and break free, or do you try to throw things deep?
I would imagine it's going to be the Hayes to Haferly connection here, but we'll see what Kevin Brock has in his bags of tricks. He's got 4 wide receivers on the far side.
Haferly's in motion. He could get the handoff here, but Hayes going to keep things himself. He finds Slaughter. He escapes one tackle, escapes another, but drugged down by his ankles about the 38-yard line. It moves the chains a little bit.
It makes 4th down a little bit more achievable. Slaughter in the middle screen, again, fights his way for a lot of yards, but they only got about halfway, so I think it's 4-down territory even with 6 minutes to go. The Saints aren't going to punt this ball away, but we've seen this a couple of times in this ball game with Hayes punting the football.
Hayes trying to get the Panthers to go offside to make it 4th and 2, but instead he doesn't get it. It's 4th and 7, a huge play here for the sophomore. He drops back. He's going to kick things away. And he punts it. It's going to have a good bounce. No one's deep to receive, and that takes a good Saints bounce. Bouncing about the 26-yard line. So a good punt of about 40 yards on the play.
Well, you have to respect the quarterback being back there, so you can't drop anybody back. And kind of just the ball's going to roll where it does, and it rolls all the way down to the 26-yard line. So good field position game right now, but now the pressure goes back on the Saints to get that stop as they got last time. But the clock is starting to get late in the game with 5.5 minutes to go. I know you have 2 timeouts, but the clock is your enemy right now.
And you don't want to use them on defense. You want to use them on offense when you have a chance to score. But we'll see what happens. 4:34 left to go in the 4th quarter. Paxton Buckley Loda leading Central Catholic 12-7. You heard Eric LePan's voice. I'm Blake Haas, and Neil Doyle is in Studio A producing up a storm and also giving us scores around the area. Hand off to Smith. He finds blockers. He escapes one tackle, advances to the 40. Now drugged down about the 45-yard line on the far side, and that moves the chains, but did he get out of bounds to stop the clock?
No, tackled inbounds. A great job of kind of side to side once he gets in the open by the senior Smith and picks up big yardage. And just remember, the Saints defense has been on the field an awful lot in this ball game. They have to be getting tired, and that's when you hand the ball over to your senior running back in Smith, who picks up a big 17 on 1st down.
And we don't keep track of this, but I would love to know the time of possession for Paxton Buckley Loda, how long they've had the ball throughout this game.
Tyler Smith approaching for now over 150 yards on the night for PBL.
Good night for Smith, the senior, who's next to his quarterback. That's Burns, who's back in the shotgun. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 43-yard line. A handoff to Smith with a dog pile of players, and the official's going to come in and peel him off like a banana. And that's us up 2nd and 10.
Nice pressure that time by Central Catholic. First man in there was John Rossi, making the play on the end of the line. Knows who's going to get the football. Got in there, put his helmet in there, made the stop.
You're listening to Week 3 of high school football here on AM 1230 WJBC, Bloomington Normal, a Cumulus Media station. Sponsored by Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. So 2nd and 10. Burns is back in the shotgun. One wide receiver far side, one near side. A handoff to Smith once again, and Saints swarm up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Saints now bringing the linebackers, kind of just shooting those holes. They know it's coming, and they're really just trying to stop it, getting exactly what they needed. The 1 yard loss now brings up 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 11. Clock continues to run, but the Saints getting the stops when they need it right here.
3:45 left to go in the 4th quarter. Saints need a huge stop on defense. The DBs trying to get the fans fired up as it's senior night here at Bill Hugger Memorial Field, named in 2004. Fans getting excited. You can hear them in the background. 3rd and 11. Runs back in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers make that 3 on the far side. He's going to throw thing. Saints blitz, as you heard Eric's voice. And it is stopped for the catch about the 49-yard line. A nice defensive stop by number 8 for the Saints. That's Luke Whitaker.
Timeout Central Catholic as they fall short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th and about 4, a very long 4 on the pitch and catch on 3rd down. But the Saints stop the clock with 3:17 to go. Now only 1 timeout left after they used their 2nd one. But now at this point at midfield, Blake, I'm not sure if PBL can go for this. Maybe they will, but I would think you'd want to punt the ball and try and pin Saints deep.
I would think so. My apologies. Isaac Whitaker was in on the stop, but that sets up 4th and 4. I would almost punt things away. You're up by a score, and there's 3:17 left to go. Defense has been solid so far tonight for the Panthers. I would almost say I trust my defense.
Yeah, you can't give them the ball around midfield. You got to punt this ball and try and pin them down, say, inside the 20, inside the 10. But again, we've noticed PBL's kicking game is not one of their strong suits, so I'm not sure if they really have somebody that can put a punt where you need it. But even if you could punt it down and get it inside the 30 and have it go out of bounds with no return, that's got to be better than coming up short on a 4th and 4 right at midfield.
Well, that's exactly right. We have yet to see Paxton Buckley Loda attempt an extra point. Every time they've scored tonight, they've gone for 2 each time, and this is
the
play of the game.
Call. They are going to go for it, and this is a big play. This is the biggest play of this game. Saints need a stop.
Fans on their feet. 4th and 4. Saints need a stop to try to score and tie this thing up. Bruns is back in the shotgun. 3:17 left to go. He's going to kick things or punt things away. A high kick. It doesn't go very far, and it bounces to about the 30-yard line. So a very short kick. And Eric, I don't know if that was the best play to do there.
Well, they kind of did exactly what Central's been doing all night long, kind of fake like the quarterback's going to do something, but then the quarterback with a pooch punt, it went straight up in the air, not far, but exactly what they needed to do, not give the ball up at midfield, so they gain a little bit, but Saints have good field position starting on their own 31-yard line.
Maybe a pickup of 18 yards. It went higher than it did far, and that's just not a good punt.
It had some backspin. I thought the Saints were going to get a good bounce and have it go positive yards.
So we'll see Hayes back in the gun. 3 wide receivers far side. Official blows his whistle, and the Saints are going to catch things and play it. And it's Isaac. And it's one of the Saints who fumbles it.
He caught the football. It was Hayes to Haferly. He caught it on the slant. Looked like he might have been down. The ball came out. So we talked about fumbles in this one being huge. The first turnover, the officials are going to talk about this one. They might call Haferly down, and that it would be a huge call in this ball game, because he got to the 49-yard line, so a pickup of about 17 on 1st down, and we'll see what this officiating crew calls right here.
Colin Hayes found Ryan Haferly, the 6'4", 200-pound junior, by about the 49-yard line. But when he was tackled, when he went down, he bounced on the ground. The question was his knee down when he went down? And the officials are discussing this.
We've seen Kevin Bracco berserk. I think Josh Pritchard might come unglued if this call is reversed. They called it a fumble on the field, but as we've seen all night, this crew is huddled up, and they are talking about this one. And the head official came in and wanted to talk this one over. Are we sure that was a fumble? Are we sure his knee was not down? And they are taking their sweet time on this one.
See, during the play, I heard a whistle. Here comes the call. And it's going to be a fumble. Wow. The head official calls it a fumble. So Paxton Buckley Loda takes over on offense. And the fans do not like that call.
And it was so close, it's hard to tell. He laid out to try and get some extra yards, so his knee is very close to the ground. Not sure when that ball came out of there. Immediately called a fumble. That's a tough break. Saints had a nice pickup on first down, and now we're right back where we were just about a minute ago, but PBL has it 1st and 10.
So Burns is now back in the shotgun. Saints need a huge stop here. He's going to kick things himself, and he follows his blockers, a gain of about 7 yards on the play. Saints fans still letting the officials hear about it.
Well, the calls have gone PBL's way. We've seen some face masks and that turnover that went against Central Catholic there, but Central really kind of loading the box now, knowing that they have to stop this PBL team from getting this first down. Only one timeout, so you can only stop the clock once. And PBL is going to take all the play clock they need on 2nd down and 6.
And the clock just continues to roll. 2:20 left to go. Paxton Buckley Loda leading Central Catholic. The score is 12-7. Taking their time is PBL, the Panthers. Bruns is in the shotgun. He's going to kick things himself. Runs into a wall again. But the thing is the clock continues to roll. When do you call a timeout?
And we know the answer to that because Kevin Brock just called it, but that was Caden Snelling, the big 6'2", 225 linebacker / wide receiver on that carry, but he only got about a yard as he has kind of been in there for those short yardage situations. So now the Saints forcing a 3rd down and long. So Kevin Brock burns that final timeout with 2:05 to go.
And if you're going to call timeout with the clock ticking, now is the time to do it. 3rd and 5. If you get a stop here, that sets up 4th down to make them put the ball in their court, make a decision. And
yeah, you really want to get a no gain or a tackle for loss here. Make it a 4th down and long. Force them to have to punt the football again. I would imagine they will try and do some sort of pooch kick by their quarterback to pin Central Catholic deep, make them go the length of the field with under 2 minutes to go and no timeouts.
Again, we're going to pause for station identification. We'll be right back with the 3rd down play. You're listening to WJBC.
From the Heller Motor Studios, this is WJBC Bloomington Normal, AM 1230 and FM 102.1, a Cumulus station.
And we're back at Bill Hubbard Memorial Field. Eric LePan alongside me on Blake Haas. Neil Doyle is in Studio A. We'll have post-game until 10 o'clock. We'll hear from head coach of the Central Catholic Saints, Kevin Brott. 3rd and 5 for the
Snelling
Panthers.
Again.
And Snelling takes it. He doesn't get it. And that now sets up 4th down, and it's decision time for the Panthers. Do you punt things away, or do you go for it on 4th and 5?
Snelling just got a yard, so it brings up 3rd down, and where they spot this looks like a very long 3, maybe 4, as we're under 2 minutes now, so we'll see what PBL does. Maybe they do something similar to the last time where they send Bruns out there to fake it and then pooch punt it, but they're going to take all of this play clock. They do have a timeout in their back pocket, but they might try something fancy here, but the ball game depends on this stop right here.
Clock is rolling, 4th and 4. Minute 25 left to go. Paxton Buckley Loda working with a 12-7 lead. The clock just continues to tick, and now a timeout by the head coach of the Panthers.
So they took the play clock down to the final couple seconds, burned that final timeout.
A flag's been thrown.
It might have been a delay of game. This could be huge because if this pushes them back 5 yards, that's even farther. They're going to have to punt the football because that would make it 4th down and 9.
So a flag's been thrown. What exactly happened? I'm not for sure. It came in really late.
Well, they were trying to take the play clock down to the final seconds before they burned that timeout. Sideline warning.
Wow.
Against who?
I'm guessing head coach Kevin Brott. They're pushing the team back towards the track a little bit.
So it's not a penalty. The first one is a warning. And basically that happens if the sideline official runs into anybody on the sideline, they will throw the flag as a warning. The second time is a penalty. So we're right back where we were.
So does the timeout, are they charged with the timeout?
Yeah, they still called the timeout. it kind of coincided at the same time. So big play, 4th and 4.
4th and 4, minute 17. This could be the ball game. 4th and 4, a huge play.
Runs dropping farther back.
Runs dropping back.
Slaughter now back. He's going to try and return this.
And he's going to punt things away in the arms of Slaughter at the 20. He escapes one tackle to the 25, advancing to the 30 and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. And now the Saints have a chance to
late flag. Not sure what that's about either.
Jake Slaughter was thrown down about the 50-yard line by the quarterback, Mason Bruns. And that could be a personal foul either against Jake Slaughter or the quarterback who punted things away. They were a little bit of a scrumble about the 50-yard line.
That was well after he went out of bounds.
Well after he was out of bounds, almost by the Gatorade coolers.
There might be 2 flags on this play. A couple of possibly penalties, maybe offsetting. Officials are lined up to walk this off against Central Catholic, so
they've had a lot of
they have taken their time tonight on their play calls. Or their penalty calls.
And while we have the chance, we want to thank our sponsors, Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford.
Holding.
And a holding against the Saints of Central Catholic. But what's the other penalty?
So no penalty on Slaughter getting thrown down on the sideline. So they're going to spot this at the 33, so mark off 10 yards. And again, the Saints are not getting the breaks penalty-wise, so they're going to have to start 1st and 10 on their own 24-yard line.
Saints are kind of shooting themselves in the foot here late in the 4th quarter. Minute 7 left to go. Again, our other sponsors are Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travelers, Hiller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg.
So with 67 seconds left in this one, no timeouts. Central Catholic can win it with a touchdown, trailing by 5.
1st and 10. The sophomore quarterback is in the shotgun formation. Now official is blowing the play dead. Is there another flag, or what's the call?
Making sure the clock is right, the spot is right.
The officials have spent a lot of time huddled up together discussing this game tonight.
That official says we're good. Ball's where it should be. Clock's where it should be. New ball on the field. So minute 7 for Colin Hayes. See if he's got some magic in him to maybe hook up with Haferly and get a touchdown and a 1-point win for Central Catholic.
The 6'6 sophomore quarterback is back in the pocket. He finds one of his wide receivers, but it was underthrown. Looking for Rye Pertz, last name P-I-R-T-Z, and that's underthrown. That set up 2nd and 10, and the ball is on the 24-yard line.
Maybe threw that ball just a little bit early. Pertz wasn't out of his break yet, but a nice play to the sideline because they're going to have to get out of bounds and stop the clock, even with the first downs. On 1st down, it looks like they're going to try and just throw the ball down the field. But remember, Slaughter's a home run hitter. We'll see what he can do.
So it's going to go to Pertz once again. You have to get out of bounds, and he gets to about the 35-yard line, but the clock is rolling.
1st down, so the clock stops with 56 seconds left.
The clock stops to reset the ball, but the Saints have no timeouts, so I've spiked the ball here to try to get something going.
So they wind the clock now, 55.
Hayes back in the shotgun, looking for Pertz again, but it's overthrown, and head coach Kevin Blatt puts his hands over his head in frustration, but says, come on, guys, we got this. It's now 2nd and 10. The clock stops at 51 seconds as Paxton Buckley Loda works with a 12-7 lead in the 4th quarter.
Hayes trying to go back to Pertz on the left sideline, just kind of too strong that time, airmailed it over his head. 2nd down and 10, so 51 seconds to go. You got to get some bigger chunks than 10 and 15.
Hayes is back looking for a wide receiver. He finds Pertz. Get out of bounds. He does. About the 49-yard line. That moves the chains.
Another 1st down.
And a 1st down.
So he gets out of bounds to stop the clock. 1st down stops the clock. So 1st and 10. Ball on the 49-yard line. Still 47 seconds to go.
And this is a good old-fashioned barn burner. Our game of the week here on WJBC. You heard Eric LePan's voice. I'm Blake Haas, and Neil Doyle's in Studio A. Hayes looking for Pertz again, finds him, gets out of bounds. The same play is working for the Saints. Just keep doing it.
Well, and PBL all night long has been playing so far off the Central wide receivers. They're giving him a huge cushion, and he's close to another 1st down. Actually not. Thought he was. It was a nice pickup on first down of about 6.
And it's right on the line. Official picks up the ball.
But he got out of bounds. He got out of bounds to stop the clock with 44 seconds.
So it sets up 2nd and 4. Hayes throws it on the far side and makes the connection. Get out of bounds as the goal. Does he get out of bounds?
No, he does not.
And that's Bo Mays. He does not get out of bounds.
Caught inbounds, so wind the clock, 32 seconds.
And head coach Kevin Brock is yelling for a spike to spike the ball. You hear.
They want a spot. They want to, they're not sure what down it is. They want to stop the clock for a spot. He was close to a first down. Keep the clock going. The official called the clock to go, but it was close to a first down. So you got to, Saints are maybe calling for a measurement.
You heard the offensive coordinator smacking the wall next to us.
They wanted the clock to stop, but the official clearly waving his arm to run the clock. So maybe put some seconds back on this one, but it is very close. Now the chain gang has it first down, and they are moving the chain, so it is 1st and 10. So the clock should have stopped for the first down.
The official was waving his arms in circular motion, meaning the clock rolls. So do they add any time?
6 seconds go back on the clock. It went from 30 to 36 seconds. Ball on the 40-yard line. So plenty of time for Central Catholic, but you can't go in the middle of the field or you're going to run out of time.
So the clock does roll. 30 seconds left to go. Finding a wide receiver is...
Oh, he stayed in bounds.
The sophomore quarterback, he finds Haverly.
No, he's out of bounds.
Out of bounds. And gets a first down about the 25-yard line.
So getting 10 yards at a chunk now, 25 seconds down inside the 30 near the 29-yard line.
So 25 seconds left to go. PBL is leading Central Catholic 12-7.
Gonna snap it.
The sophomore quarterback gets the snap and throws it down to stop the clock and to waste a down. It's now 2nd and 10.
Head
19 seconds left to go.
Kevin Brock upset. Too much time to just spike that football. Maybe took about 7 or 8 seconds, valuable seconds off. So clock now all the way down to 19 seconds. So at some point you're going to have to throw to the end zone. It is 2nd down and 10. You might have enough time for 3 more plays, Blake, but that's about it.
And that's Eric LePan. I'm Blake Haas. As the sophomore quarterback, Colin Hayes, is back in the gun. 2 wide receivers near side. Hayes finds Hatefully on the far side. Gets tackled out of bounds. Takes out the guy that's holding the stick to mark the chain gain. And he's okay, but nonetheless, 15 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter.
Just a short gain of just 2 at the most. So again, you're running out of time. You got to get in the end zone. But it takes a long time. The ball's on around the 28-yard line, so you got to allow your receivers to get down there. So at some point, you're going to have to throw to the end zone.
You're also running out of downs. It's 3rd and 10. Sophomore quarterback looking deep now. He finds one of his wide receivers, but he's inbounds, and it bounces off one of his hands into Slaughter. He gets to the 5-yard line, out of bounds with 6 seconds left to go. A jungle catch. It bounces off of his wide receiver's hands into the grippers of Slaughter. Holy cow.
I think it was the old hook and ladder. It went to Pertz, and he was going to pitch it to Slaughter. He got hit as he pitched the ball. Slaughter still caught it, turned the corner. Great defensive play by PBL to knock Slaughter out of the 5-yard line. So now it's 1st and goal on the 5-yard line. 6 seconds to go. This has to be the ball game
and
right here.
This is one heck of a ball game. Paxton Buckley Loda leading Central Catholic 12-7. 6 seconds left. Maybe a play left in the pocket of head coach Kevin Brock. The sophomore quarterback throws things to Jake Slaughter. Throws things deep. And a touchdown. Touchdown Central Catholic. As the score expires, the scoreboard is expired. Saints run onto the field. Holy cow, that is a walk-off touchdown for Central Catholic.
The pitch to Slaughter, the halfback option. He threw it to a wide-open receiver in the end zone, and it's Bedlam here at Bill Hunman Memorial Field.
Saints win 13-12. Holy cow, I can feel the goosebumps on my back.
What a great play call. The pitch to Slaughter. It was a halfback option. The receiver got behind all the defenders. Wide open. Slaughter put it right on his hands. Zeros on the clock, and somehow Central Catholic just won this football game.
You couldn't write a story tell any better. Central Catholic Saints come in and knock off the 10th-ranked Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda. Final score 13-12. Eric LePan, holy cow, I need an inhaler to catch my breath.
Well, it was the great 2 plays to get him there. The old hook and ladder. Slaughter gets it down to the 5, thought he was going to score, and then they just let Slaughter on the halfback option throw it to a wide open receiver to win 13-12. Wow.
The Saints are on the field with all the cheerleaders still rejoicing that walk-off touchdown. Holy cow.
Back here in 2 more weeks for homecoming.
It's the first time in 2 years we've had fans in the stands at Bill Hudd Memorial Field, and the Central Catholic Saints go home with a win and improve to 3-0. So now the seniors are going to come onto the field, and they're going to rejoice with the football players as well, as Eric LePan's going to go down to talk to the head coach of the Central Catholic Saints, Kevin Brott, to talk about that last play of how the Saints just scored that walk-off touchdown. Fans are on the field rejoicing with Central Catholic Saints. Holy cow, the final score 13-12. Central Catholic Saints improved to 3-0. The Panthers of Paxton Buckley Loda fall to 2-1, and they were ranked 10th in the state of Illinois in the Class 3A. And they fall to Central Catholic, who's now undefeated. Our high school football coverage tonight, before we take a break, is by Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. You do not want to turn your radio dial. Head coach Kevin Brott will talk with our own Eric LePan in just a little bit, plus scores from around the area with Neil Doyle. You want to stay right here. It's going to be a good post-game interview. You're listening to high school football on AM 1230 and 102.1 FM WJBC and WJBC.com.
Westminster Village is Bloomington Normal's premier continuing care retirement community. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed and not weighed down with the stresses of everyday life. Westminster Village works to celebrate life by providing excellence in senior living through a continuum of care and services. With over 40 years of experience, Westminster Village has perfected the art of carefree retirement living. They handle day-to-day tasks like meals, housekeeping, and transportation. At Westminster Village, residents love their home and feel safe living in an over 98% vaccinated community. Westminster Village's new assisted living and memory care is now open, offering 60 spacious assisted living apartments and a state-of-the-art memory care unit, as well as expansive lounges and dining areas, outdoor courtyards, theater, bistro, wellness center, spa room, and more. Call today to join the waiting list. 663-6474. That's 663-6474. Westminster Village, a continuing care retirement community. Visit westminstervillageinc.com for
hard work, confidence, and a love of the game. It's not only what makes you successful on the football field, it's what makes us a winning team at O'Brien Hyundai and Normal. Our goal is 100% satisfaction for our customers, and we do whatever it takes to achieve it. So come check out the unbeatable Hyundai lineup at O'Brien. We're talking Sonatas, Tucsons, Santa Fe's, and Palisades. Plus, we've got the Hyundai Elantra. It's the 2021 North American Car of the Year, and all Hyundais come with complimentary maintenance, Hyundai Assurance, and America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Go online now to O'BrienTeamHyundai.com, and with O'Brien Express Car Buying, you can buy your Hyundai 100% online. Plus, let's pump up the team spirit in Normal. Shop local, buy local, and keep our community driving when you purchase at O'Brien Hyundai, your hometown Hyundai dealer. We're #1 in customer loyalty for 11 years in a row. Come see us at O'Brien Hyundai and Normal or online at O'BrienTeamHyundai.com.
O'Brien's got it. Yeah, O'Brien's got it.
According to 2020 Brand Keys Customer Loyalty Engagement Index.
The voice for high school sports. AM 1230 WJBC and WJBC.com.
I'll tell you what a game at Bill Hundman Memorial Field over at Central Catholic High School. Back in Studio A, Neil Doyle with you. We're in post-game mode in a thriller, a winner as seconds expired. The Central Catholic Saints, a flea flicker from just 6 yards out. They marched down the field in just under 2 minutes, and it was who else other than Jake Slaughter to score the winning touchdown for Central Catholic, and they take it 13-12 over PBL. What a fun game that was here in week number 3. We thought it was going to be a good one. Two teams that were unbeaten coming into this week in the Illini Prairie Conference. And did we get a good game here as our main game on WJBC tonight. Still plenty to do. We'll hear from Saints head coach Kevin Brock. Eric LePan went down to talk to him, so we'll hear from the head coach, and you got to think he's got to be very excited for his seniors. And what a game it was for the Saints as they now move to 3-0 on the season. We'll hear more from Blake and Eric as well, as we'll take you all the way till 10 o'clock tonight. Post-game, we'll get all the final scores that we can gather for you here tonight in week number 3. We'll update you on those throughout the rest of the evening. And let's do some of that now before we head back out to Bill Hundman Memorial Field and wrap it up with Blake and Eric here tonight. But let's go through the scores. We have a couple of finals in the books around some of the inner city teams. Normal Community, big winner tonight at Dick Tharp Field. They took it 54-13 over Peoria Richwood. So the Ironmen improving to 3-0. Richwoods drops to 0-3 on the year. Purple Raiders, their first road game of the season, and they got a win 14-0 against Peoria Manual. So the Purple Raiders now 2-1. Our last update, Normal West was up 3 scores, 21-0 over Champaign Centennial. And I believe that game has not gone final quite yet. Just doing a quick update there. Yeah, Normal West still up 21-0 is what we had. Eureka in the Heart of Illinois Conference, a big winner, 42-0 over Hayworth. That game has gone final. Tremont was up 42-12 over Leroy. Have not seen a final there quite yet. Our last update we had, Tri-Valley was up 7-0 over Ridgeview. That was a bit of an older score, so we'll try to get that one updated for you as well. Low scorer tonight between GCMS and El Paso Gridley, but it was the Falcons taking it 7-0 over the Titans. So GCMS improving to 2-1. Monticello up 40-22 against Olympia. I don't believe that one's gone final yet. An update with just under 2 minutes left to play in Pontiac. It's Pontiac up 20-14 over Rantoul. And our last update in the fourth quarter was Prairie Central up 27-22 against St. Joseph Ogden. So those are some of our high school football scoring updates as most games nearing a close here in week number 3. And like we've said, we'll try to get you all the finals as we take you through pregame here, just about the next 40 minutes or so, all the way till 10 o'clock. Update you on some baseball scores. St. Louis Cardinals are in action at Busch Stadium. That game still tied 2 apiece as they are in the top of the 8th, the Cardinals and the Reds. So big 2-game series for the Cardinals, trying to make a push for that wild card standing. So again, 2-2 there at Busch Stadium in the top of the 8th. White Sox are up 4-1 over the Red Sox. That one is in the top of the 6th. ISU volleyball earlier today, they lost in 4 sets against Central Michigan. They're playing at the Flyer Raider Invitational in Dayton, Ohio. So the Redbird volleyball team will be in action again tomorrow. Football for the ISU football team tomorrow. They're playing FBS opponent Western Michigan. You can hear that game right here on WJBC. Our coverage tomorrow afternoon will start at 3 o'clock. Fighting Illini football on the road against Virginia, trying to bounce back after a loss last week. And the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan are off this week. They lost in week number 1. They'll be back in action for week number 3. We'll continue to keep you updated on the scores, and we'll have more recap from a thrilling victory for the Saints of Central Catholic. They took it 13-12 over PBL in the final second. Like we told you, we'll hear from head coach Kevin Brock here in just a little bit, and we'll get final thoughts from Blake Haas and Eric LePan as well. Plenty to do here on our post-game mode of high school football on WJBC.
A farmer in Setanta, Kansas. The agriculture industry has come a long way. Advancements in science and technology have transformed the sector, creating new job opportunities and a demand for highly skilled workers. I am proud to support the next generation of ag leaders through the America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders program sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Each year, farmers can help local students by endorsing them for a $1,500 Grow Ag Leader scholarship. The scholarship allows students to pursue their dreams of studying an agriculture-related field. Each year, the program provides more than $500,000 to students enrolling in trade schools and at 2- and 4-year colleges and universities. A variety of fields are eligible, including farming, education, agronomy, engineering, mathematics, data science, communications, and many more. I encourage high school seniors and college students to apply today by visiting growagleaders.com. FFA membership is not required.
During difficult times, young military families feel the impact. When a military spouse is unemployed, the whole family struggles. The Armed Services YMCA answers the call and provides food assistance to ensure military children have plenty to eat and childcare that enables military spouses to work. Now more than ever, we need your help to provide emergency relief to military families. Help now at helpymca.org.
Home is meant to be our safe place, but heart attacks and strokes don't stay home. Don't avoid the ER out of anxiety. Don't die of doubt. Don't stay silent, and don't stay home. If you have an emergency, call 911 immediately. When seconds count, the hospital is the safest place to be. Visit heart.org/don't die of doubt. Brought to you by the American Heart Association.
Disability is not inability. A person's ability may be different, but still an ability. No matter one's race or age, no matter one's physical or mental condition. We all have limitless possibilities. For more than 100 years, Easter Seals has helped the 1 in 4 people with disabilities in America live, work, learn, and play. I'm Angela Williams, CEO of Easter Seals.
Visit easterseals.com to help.
Post-game mode continues here on WJBC. Neil Doyle with you in Studio A. And, man, what a game it was out at Bill Hunman Memorial Field. Central Catholic getting the ball late after they turned it over late in the fourth quarter. They got the ball back, drove down the field. Two crazy plays at the end, and the Saints take it 13-12 over PBL, and the Saints remain perfect on the season. Let's head back out to Bill Hunman Memorial Field and hear again from Blake Haas and Eric LePan. Guys, you know, what a thriller. And we thought this was going to be a good one. It panned out being pretty good.
Well, it panned out to be exactly the way we thought it was going to go, as Central Catholic knocks off 10th-ranked Paxton Buckley Loda 13-12. And Eric, have you caught your breath yet?
I tell you, that was an exciting one. You just kind of felt it. You just felt the excitement back here at Bill Hunman Memorial Field, and everybody was just willing that game to end the way it did, and it did. And it's just, you kind of look at each other and just say, wow, did we just see what that...
Did we really just experience
right.
what just happened? Yeah, that's kind of the question a lot of people are asking.
Just crazy, but just a great win for this program that's trying to kind of build itself up after, you know, a couple of bad years. And the winless season just a short time ago, you kind of changed regimes, and you start to bring the excitement back to a proud school that's won multiple state titles, and it starts with wins tonight.
And it also starts with a familiar name on the football field, Mays.
Yeah.
That's a familiar name here at Central Catholic, and scoring the game-winning touchdown. Before we get to that, let's kind of go through the whole game and recap how we got to where we are tonight with a walk-off for Central Catholic as they get the win tonight. So starting things off, it was pretty much all of Paxton Buckley Loda offensively. That front line they have, you know, average weight probably 250 pounds apiece. I mean, they have some big guys, and that's what got them to where they were.
Their offensive line came to play, and they really dominated the first half, pushing the Saints defensive line back, and the Saints could not stop the running game of PBL, and a couple of long drives, just 2 drives in the first half, and they ate up a ton of clock, scored on both of them. But the key point of those, they tried to go for 2 both times and failed.
That's exactly right, and they don't have an extra point kicker, so that's the reason why they went for 2 points each time. And we saw 5 or 6 different running backs throughout the game, as Tyler Smith was pretty much the load carrier for the Panthers to Paxton Buckley Loda, in fact finishing with over 150 yards on the ground. But it just seemed like every time the Saints went to stop them, the Panthers just went back to that same run play every time.
Yeah, they gave it to the senior and Smith predominantly in the second half. He's the load carrier and the senior out there, the good hands, and They didn't turn the ball over, and that was huge, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to shorten this game, keep it on the ground, but they just kind of ran out of time, and the Saints defense stepped up when they needed to.
Well, that's exactly right. Looking at the first half, Paxton Buckley Loda jumped out to a quick 6-0 lead. We'll have highlights later on throughout the evening as we'll have postgame until 10 o'clock with Neil Doyle, but it seemed like Paxton Buckley Loda jumped out to a 6-0 lead, then bounced right back and scored another touchdown, but the two-point conversions were no good. So they worked with a 12-0 lead going into halftime. Third quarter, on the other hand, was a different story for Central Catholic, who scored with about 45 seconds left to go there in the third quarter.
Yeah, Central Catholic needed to do something in the third quarter. They did that. They got the drive when they needed it. It came on fourth down, and it was exactly a nice pass play. Hayes to Slaughter exactly when they needed it, and it was when they needed it, they stepped up tonight.
Slaughter, the senior this year, had 1,149 rushing yards as a sophomore. In fact, he can squat 450 pounds in the weight room, so that really showed off offensively for him tonight with those strong legs and getting out. As soon as he gets into the open yard, there's no way to chase him down. But after that, it got closer in the fourth quarter. A lot of fourth downs, questionable calls by both sides, and it seemed like when things mattered the most, the Saints really came on top defensively before those final plays.
Well, and you can almost see them kind of give up. They had that chance. They got the stop, and their first play or second play after getting it, the fumble that was questionable by Haferly, thought his knee was down, so they turn it back over, kind of right back exactly where they were about 30 seconds prior to that. You could see maybe the shoulders drop, but they didn't. They kept their chins up, and they got the stop that they needed. A couple minutes went off the clock, and it allowed them enough time to get down the field for that scoring touchdown.
And now let's recap those final moments of the game. Saints doing two unique offensive sets. Kind of walk us through those offensive sets. You're the one that called them perfectly.
Well, they got it down to around the 30-yard line, and they were running out of time. There was about 17 seconds left. We talked about that. At some point, you got to go to the end zone because you can't score unless you get in the end zone. So they reach deep into the bag of tricks or go on to page 99 of your playbook.
They
throw the old,
that's what happened.
They throw the old hook and ladder, but PBL read that perfectly, and the defender hits, I believe it was Pertz, right as he pitched it. But the ball got to Slaughter, who turned the corner, and you thought he was going to score. Good defensive play by the D-back of PBL, stopping him at the 5-yard line. So then, you've got a chance. But you got to get your head right. You only have so many seconds on the play clock.
And no timeouts.
No timeouts. So this is it. This is the game. And they go to the halfback option, and it was Slaughter to Bo Mays, who was wide open in the back of the end zone. A great play call. It was just a thing of beauty.
So that's lovely. Love what we loved. If I could talk here, the excitement's just kind of taken out of me. But nonetheless, we love to see the Central Catholic Saints get on top. A nice victory, 13-12, as they knock off Paxton Buckley Loda, ranked number 10 in the state of Illinois. And in fact, Central Catholic last year, they were 3-5. This year, they're 3-0. So things are really turning the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming off that 0-9 season just a short time ago, to be 3-0 and have that energy and to see the smiles on those Saints players down on the field, it's just a big turnaround. And Kevin Brock has to be happy about that, and he's been the catalyst in all that.
And he's been the catalyst, in fact, his third year at the helm. And in fact, after the game, this is an interview you want to hear. Head coach Kevin Brock talk with our own Eric LePan after the game, and we'll play that interview for you right now.
Well, a short tenure here at Central Catholic, but that's got to rank up there with the top one of your career.
Yeah, most definitely. That's number one here for sure. That might be number one of all the games I've been through. Our kids battled through adversity. Give credit to PBL. Really executed their game plan. I felt like in the first half, kept us off the field. We could never get going. We only had 2 or 3 possessions. They had 2 scoring drives. And listen, we found a way to win. That's all I can say.
Well, they came out here with a game plan to really just keep it on the ground and eat the clock, and it was working. And then somehow you got some stops in the second half.
Yeah, I'll tell you, at halftime, we really just talked about, listen, it's a 12-0 game. I think 2 of the biggest plays we had were stopping them on their 2-point conversions, personally. Because if we give those up, we're not winning this game right now. 2-point conversions are hard to get, so those were momentum plays. Even though the kids are coming off the field kind of dejected, I mean, I'm juiced on that because I know that's a scoring opportunity for us. But at halftime, there was no yelling, no screaming. We just talked about, listen, they executed their game plan. They've kept us off the field. We need to score. I don't know what we were on drives there. I think we were 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of 4 on that second half. And our defense, we were missing tackles in the first half. And we rallied up and got them behind the sticks a little bit and came away with the victory.
It took a while for your offense to get clicking, but then your sophomore quarterback started to find those receivers. And what a drive to finish things off. You got to go 70 yards in less than a minute.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Colin's still a sophomore, so, he's 6'6", so people look at him like he's, a senior that's been through it. He still battles some confidence, and we got to put him in good situations. But, listen, when he needed to make plays, he made plays. He took what they gave us and let our playmakers make plays, and feel really good about where he's at.
You reached deep in the bag of tricks those last 2 plays, the old hook and ladder and then the halfback option to win the ball game.
Absolutely. So when we didn't get out of bounds on that second to last play, that was coming in right away. We wanted to get a little bit more yardage, and then we went to a play we call circus. It's the old Boise State play. That worked, and then we call a little play called bubble pop. We've run it once here 2 or 3 years ago for a touchdown, so we knew it was there. It was just a matter of executing it.
Well, you're 3-0, winning a very hard-fought, kind of improbable win, but you put yourself in command in the Illini Prairie.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're going to enjoy this tonight, but we got to have a short memory. We go to Monticello next week, and we've had 2 really good games down there, but just come up short. So, listen, we're going to enjoy this tonight, but we're going to get back to work tomorrow, focus on Monticello, and, it's 3-0. It's been a long time since Central's been 3-0, so feel good.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Go Saints.
And that's head coach Kevin Broad breaking down those final plays with our own Eric LePan. And Eric, did it seem like Coach was shell-shocked after the game, getting that walk-off touchdown?
A big smile on his face. I think he's just so happy for these young men, but he knows that the work's not done. You've got 2 ranked opponents in week 4 and 5 in Monticello and Tolono Unity. So he said that in an interview, we're only going to enjoy this for just a day or 2, and then we got to move on. But I think after suffering through the early losses that he had as head coach here, to be 3-0 in a very short time, he's got to feel proud about that.
And you and I were kind of talking during the interview, that's getting close to being playoff bound.
Yeah, absolutely. When you shorten the season, you get it down to 3 games now, and all you really have to do is win 6 games, and all you have to do is win 2 of those 6 games. It starts to look very likely that you will be a playoff team. So to go into the playoffs, the Saints weren't even thinking about the playoffs in the last few years. So.
Well, that's exactly right. And head coach Kevin Broad is trying to chase a ring like he got in 1996. As a graduate of BCC, he was a state champion. Class 3A team. So looking to chase the playoffs and possibly another ring for head coach Kevin Broad. But some final thoughts on this one as Central Catholic kind of steals the win, as you say.
Well, just a couple of great play calls in the final 17 seconds. And I guess Pertz is going to be the game winner in the end zone. We thought it was Mays, but we're being told video evidence shows it was Pertz. It was a great halfback option, slaughter to Pertz. He couldn't be more wide open in the back of the end zone. Zeros on the clock. It's how you want to end a game. Everybody's out there, jumping around. So just one of those great Friday night games that we're able to call from start to finish here on WJBC.
Well, that's exactly right. It was senior night tonight as well, which makes just the cherry on top of the ice cream for tonight. And a final score of Paxton Buckley Loda. Central Catholic 13, Paxton Buckley Loda 12. We want to thank our sponsors tonight for allowing us to bring you these local games all season long. We'll have them all season long for you here on WJBC. It's what we do best, is bring you local live action. And our sponsors tonight is Country Financial Representative Steve Peterson, also Heller Ford, Floor Coverings International, Land of Lincoln Credit Union, O'Brien Hyundai, Direct Travel, Heller Motors, Bank of Pontiac, ISU Office of Admissions, Gill Street Restaurant, and Country Financial Representative Melissa Eisenberg. So, Eric, are you ready for week number 4?
Yeah, I tell you, this is, like you said, it's going to take a while to come down from this game. It was an exciting Friday night, but it just gets us even more ready for next Friday.
I don't think I'll sleep tonight, and I don't think I'll be ready for ISU football tomorrow, but nonetheless, we have more high school football coming your way all season long. We're going to head things back to Studio A with Neil Doyle. Eric, thanks so much for joining me tonight, and wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Well, I'm Blake Haas. Thanks so much for joining us. Our final score was Central Catholic Saints. They steal the victory over 10th-ranked Paxton Buckley Loda. The final score, Central Catholic 13, Paxton Buckley Loda 12. For Eric LePan, I'm Blake Haas and Neil Doyle in Studio A saying so long for now.
What is hope? Hope to me was just that he would get to come home. I had no idea how hard it would be once he got back.
I wish she'd stop drinking so much. She thinks it's helping, but it's not. I hope she sees that soon.
I act like I don't care if he comes to my games, but I hope he does.
I used to hope he'd find happiness again. Now I hope our marriage makes it.
I hope Grandpa will get help. He thinks it's too late, but it's not.
With everything that he's going through, I hope he sees a counselor. I just want my brother back.
I hoped he'd get help. Stop hoping things would get better on their own. He told me to stop asking. I didn't. Then one day he asked for a ride.
Hope is knowing there are other families just like yours, that the veterans they love got help and recovered. Go to maketheconnection.net and turn hope into action.
Well, our post-game coverage continues here on WJBC. Welcome back inside Studio A. Neil Doyle with you. And can't say it enough. What a game it was tonight at Bill Hunman Memorial Field. Central Catholic stealing it in the end. Saints defeating the Panthers of PBL 13-12. A big thank you again to Blake Haas and Eric LePan on the call tonight. Good work as always. And we've got plenty to do here over the next 20 minutes. Our pregame, I should say postgame. We're not in pregame. That was about 3 hours ago. Postgame coverage continues until 10 o'clock tonight. We'll give you final scores from around the area. We'll go through some of the scoring and some of the plays tonight in tonight's game. We'll have some of those calls from Blake Haas and Eric LePan. We'll do that over the next 20 minutes. And if we have time, you just heard from Saints head coach Kevin Brock, as he was very happy to get this win. You know, you heard him say some things to still work on, and, you know, they felt like there were some areas that they weren't as sharp on tonight, but nonetheless, Central Catholic 3-0 to start their season against a very good PBL team who had the defense working pretty much all night long until the very end. A huge drive with under 2 minutes for the Saints, and again, they take it 13-12 here tonight. Let's go through our finals, a lot of them rolling in here in week number 3, and let's go through the ones we have so far. Just one or two still lingering out there that we'll try to get for you as the next 20 minutes or so rolls on here in our postgame. But let's go around the inner city. Bloomington picking up a win 14-0 over Peoria Manual tonight. So the Purple Raiders improved to 2-1. The Rams of Manual now 0-3 on the year. Normal Community, big win for their senior night at Dick Tharp Field, 54-13. They took it over Peoria Richwoods. So the Ironmen again improving to 3-0. The Knights now 0-3 on the season. Normal West went on the road for the first time this year. And the Wildcats 21-0 over Champaign Centennial. So an impressive win for Normal West. And they are now 2-1 on the season. The Chargers were 2-0, but they'll now drop to 2-1 as well. Our other inner city team, the Pioneers of U-High, were supposed to be at Springfield Landfear tonight, but just early this afternoon, it was announced that Landfear had COVID problems. 5 players tested positive, so that game got called off. And the Pioneers get a forfeit victory. So U-High now 1-2 on the season without having to play a game here in week 3. Landfear now drops to 0-3, and the Lions of Landfear announcing they won't play their scheduled game next week either against Jacksonville. So some COVID issues within the Springfield Landfear program. Let's go around the Heart of Illinois Conference. Big win for the Eureka Hornets over the Hayworth Hornets. It was 42-0 Eureka. Tremont took it over Leroy 42-12. Tri-Valley pulling ahead, and they took it 35-14 over Ridgeview tonight. So the Vikings improving to 3-0, and the Ridgeview Mustangs now 1-2 on the year. Low scorer between GCMS and El Paso Gridley. It was the Falcons 7-0 beating the Titans tonight. So now GCMS 2-1. El Paso Gridley drops to 1-2. And another Heart of Illinois score, a back-and-forth battle. I'll tell you what, I was watching this one. I was keeping up with the scoring updates online, on Twitter, some other sites as well. And DMAC pulled it out late over Ottawa Marquette. The Chiefs of DMAC take it 40-36 tonight. That, again, was a back-and-forth affair. But it's DMAC who wins that one again, 40-36. Some other scores in the Illini Prairie Conference. That was our main game tonight in the Illini Prairie. So let's take you through some Illini Prairie finals here in week number 3. Prairie Central Hawks were able to hold on. They pretty much had the lead throughout tonight. They took it 34-28 over St. Joseph Ogden. So Prairie Central improves to 2-1. The Spartans dropped to 0-3 on the year. 20-14 was the last score we had in the Pontiac-Rantoul game in favor of Pontiac, and that was our game up in Livingston County on Classic Hits 98.9 WJEZ. So I got a text from Mark Strauss earlier. I'm sure he'll probably send me a message here in the next 10 minutes or so. So we'll try to get you a final from Pontiac. And I'm trying to see if we have a final in that Monticello and Olympia game. And I don't know if it's gone final quite yet. Let's go. This is nice. We do it live on the radio. Looking over at the Twitter, and it is a final. We've got a final in that game. Monticello takes it 46-22 over Olympia. So the Sages, after Olympia was up early in that one, the Sages again pull it out 46-22 over the Spartans, and Monticello now 3-0 on the year. Olympia drops to 1-2. So I think that we actually have finals in every game. The only one we're still looking for is Pontiac and Rantoul, just trying to get a final score in that one. And then I did want to give the final in the Tolono Unity and IVC game. Let's see if we can get a final in that one. And not quite yet. Last update we had was Tolono Unity up 35-14 over IVC. We'll see if we can get a final in that one as well. Our final, though, in our main game tonight, Central Catholic roaring back and to score in the final seconds. They took it 13-12 over PBL. And the Saints, again, improving to 3-0. We'll go through some of the scoring plays from tonight. We'll recap it for you as we've got just about 15 minutes left in our post-game coverage in Week 3 of high school football here on WJBC. We'll recap our main game. We'll do that coming up next.
Hi, I'm Lana Clausen, a farmer in Setanta, Kansas. The agriculture industry has come a long way. Advancements in science and technology have transformed the sector, creating new job opportunities and a demand for highly skilled workers. I am proud to support the next generation of ag leaders through the America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders program sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Each year, farmers can help local students by endorsing them for a $1,500 Grow Ag Leaders scholarship. The scholarship allows students to pursue their dreams of studying an agriculture-related field. Each year, the program provides more than $500,000 to students enrolling in trade schools and at 2- and 4-year colleges and universities. A variety of fields are eligible, including farming, education, agronomy, engineering, mathematics, data science, communications, and many more. I encourage high school seniors and college students to apply today by visiting growagleaders.com. FFA membership is not required.
Well, we've got just about 13 minutes left of post-game coverage of high school football here on WJBC. We thank you for tuning in tonight. Neil Doyle with you in Studio A. Just went through all the finals. We'll do that before we get out of here this evening. We'll go through all the final scores here tonight. We'll tell you, though, our main game, Central Catholic, 13-12. They took it over PBL, and the Saints remain perfect on their season. I want to apologize to Mark Strauss. I told you he was calling our game up in Pontiac tonight on our sister station. I didn't think it was final yet. It has gone final. I actually just misread the text from Mark. So the Indians of Pontiac get their first win of the season as they defeat Rantoul 20-14, and Rantoul drops to 0-3. And we do have a final in that Tolono Unity game. It was Unity 49-21 over IVC. So we've given you all the finals of the games we've been tracking tonight. Again, we'll do it before we get out of here this evening, and we'll do it just before we wrap up our post-game coverage. But now let's go through and let's take you through some of the highlights from tonight's game. Again, Blake Haas, Eric LePan on the call. It was all PBL to get going. Their defense was rolling and their offense was efficient, and they got on the board first in the second quarter.
No huddle offense for PBL as Bruns is back in the shotgun. Hands things off. Now is he in? It could be a touchdown, and it is a touchdown, but a wall of players into the end zone. The first score of week number 3 of high school football on WJBC goes to Paxton Buckley Loda.
So that was a PBL rushing touchdown in the second quarter. It was scoreless after one quarter of play. But again, PBL getting on the board first in the second quarter, and then they scored again on their second possession. It was actually only their second possession, yet another rushing touchdown, and all of a sudden it was all Panthers in the first half.
Bruns messing with his face mask, now pulls it back down, and he's getting set. He gets the handoff, goes to Smith. He's trying to find blockers. He slices and dices his way into the end zone. A touchdown for Paxton Buckley Loda, and that'll make it 12-0. A nice carry by Smith. Tyler Smith, the senior.
So you saw PBL, or I should say you heard PBL goes up 12-0 in that first half. Saints did get the ball late in the first half. They tried to drive down and put some points up on the board. It was their best offensive possession of the half. They drove down and then elected to try to get some points in the first half by going for a field goal.
The kick is up. It's end over end. Do we see a doink? No, it's
wide left.
No good. Wide left, and that is unfortunate for the Saints as they will head into the locker room here in just a minute, trailing 12-0 against Paxton Buckley Loda.
So it was a first half lead for the Panthers, and they were looking pretty good. You know, were efficient on their offensive possessions, and the defense was rolling. Central Catholic was trying to get some mojo, and maybe it was something said at halftime from head coach Kevin Brock and some of his staff to the Saints. They came out, didn't get much going on their first possession, but a good defensive series in the third quarter is kind of what started to spark the Saints and turn the momentum in their favor.
Runs back in the pocket. He's going to throw things deep. Does he have his wide receiver? Overthrown. A turnover and downs. The Saints defense prevails. A huge turnover and downs for Paxton Buckley Loda.
Bruns had Aiden Johnson down there, but Johnson's looking over his left shoulder when he should have been looking over his right shoulder, and the ball was thrown over him, and that's a good job by the Saints defense to bend but don't break. Now they need to get that offense clicking like they did right before halftime.
Yeah, so that was a huge stop for the Saints defense in the third quarter, and that's what led to the first Central Catholic touchdown. They got that stop on fourth down, and then it was the Saints getting on the board in quarter number 3.
He gets it in the gun. He's going to get out of the pocket. He's looking for someone. Throws it deep. Does he have a wide receiver?
Yes.
Touchdown, Central Catholic. Jake Slaughter catches it deep into the end zone, and the Saints are on the board.
Everything goes to the right. Hayes turns back. Slaughter has one-on-one on the far left side, puts it right on his hands for the 5-yard touchdown pass, 4-yard touchdown pass. Great throw by Colin Hayes to Jake Slaughter.
So that was the first touchdown for Central Catholic of the evening. Again, came in the third quarter. And then it was 12-7 after 3 quarters of play. Central Catholic seemed to be having the mojo. And then in the fourth quarter, back and forth they kind of went. And then it seemed like the Saints, their chances were looking pretty bleak after this big turnover.
And it's going to be a fumble. Wow. The head official calls it a fumble, so Paxton Buckley Loda takes over on offense, and the fans do not like that call.
And it was so close, it's hard to tell. He laid out to try and get some extra yards, so his knee is very close to the ground. Not sure when that ball came out of there. Immediately called a fumble. That's a tough break.
So that was a huge fumble, and it looked like, again, Central Catholic, their chances looking pretty bleak at that point in the fourth quarter. But credit the Saints defense. Bend, don't break. They got the ball back from PBL again with not much time left on the clock. Saints had to drive all the way down the field, a couple of huge plays at the end, and this was the final play that gave Central Catholic the lead.
6 seconds left, maybe a play left in the pocket of head coach Kevin Brock. The sophomore quarterback throws things to Jake Slaughter, throws things deep, and touchdown! Touchdown, Central Catholic. As the score expires, the scoreboard is expired. Saints run onto the field. Holy cow, that is a walk-off touchdown for Central Catholic.
The pitch to Slaughter, the halfback option. He threw it a wide-open receiver in the end zone, and it's Bedlam here at Bill Hunman Memorial Field.
Saints win 13-12. Holy cow, I can feel the goosebumps on my back.
So you heard the halfback option, and that was the winning play for Central Catholic tonight. We're told it was Rye Pert who scored that winning touchdown. It was Jake Slaughter who tossed it to him. Again, Bedlam at Bill Hunman Memorial Field tonight as the Saints remain perfect on their season. A last-second victory, 13-12, over a very good Paxton Buckley Loda Panthers team. PBL is going to win some games this season. Tough loss for them on the road. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll give you all the final scores again from week number 3 tonight. And then we're going to wrap up our high school football coverage of week 3 here on WJBC.
It's a podcast about money, but Stacking Benjamins not only has great financial insight, it's laid back with humor too.
I, by the way, found an Xbox for the first time last week since this chip crisis.
Did you buy it?
I did not buy it. I'm like, not going to do it. It takes me a while to spend that kind of money.
It's a smart way to do it.
Some stackers out there that may feel that. Or I'm like, I want to spend this money so bad. Like, I just can't.
Priorities.
Yes.
Stacking Benjamins with Joe and his good friend OG. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
I've had cancer 4 times, and I've beaten it 4 times too. The gift of life is a blessing, and I thank the Lord every day for that. Now I've been called to a greater purpose, helping people, just like those at OSF Healthcare who helped me. That's why I give back. It's personal. Find out more at canceritspersonal.org.
The pandemic's reminded us we live in a sea of airborne germs that can assault us with every breath. Your nose is the body's first line of defense by helping filter out allergens, bacteria, and viruses before they reach your lungs. But like any air filter, the more clogged up it gets, the less it works. So how do you clean your nose? I'm Martin Hoke, and I didn't invent nasal irrigation. The neti pot's been around thousands of years. But I did invent Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to flush out mucus and germs that cause congestion, or worse, can make you sick. Over 2 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage has over 70,000 online reviews averaging 4.7 stars because it works and it's easy to use. Go to Navage.com or find Navage at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Now available with eucalyptus for a spa-like experience. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
High school football on AM 1230, FM 102.1, WJBC.
Well, let's wrap it up here for week number 3 of high school football on WJBC. Neil Doyle here with you in Studio A for just the next couple of minutes. We'll get you to the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. Let's run through all our final scores of the games we were tracking tonight. And obviously, we've told you about our thrilling end to the main game. Central Catholic, the Saints over PBL 13-12 in the final seconds. And Central Catholic goes to 3-0. The Panthers drop to 2-1 on their season. Let's run through them. Bloomington, a win 14-0 over Peoria Manual. Purple Raiders now 2-1 on the season. The Rams drop to 0-3. Big win for Normal Community over Peoria Richwood. Senior night over at Dick Tharp Field. The Ironmen 54-13. They remain perfect on the year. The Knights drop to 0-3. Normal West on the road. A 21-0 victory over Champaign Centennial, the Chargers team that was undefeated to start their season. And now Normal West nods up the record with the Chargers. Wildcats are now 2-1. Forfeit victory for the Pioneers of U-High. Springfield Lanphier having to call off that game due to COVID-19 within their program. Some other scores in the Heart of Illinois Conference. All Eureka 42-0 over Hayworth as Eureka improves to 2-1. Hayworth 0-3. 42-14 for Tremont over Leroy. The Turks 3-0 and the Panthers dropping to 1-2. And let's run through these. Heart of Illinois, Tri-Valley 35-14 over Ridgeview. It was GCMS low scoring, but a winner.